dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome everybody to Sim Racing Media. I am Mike Demoni up in the booth. Joined with me tonight is Liam Ervig. We do have a special race tonight. It is the Monsters of Speed Cup Series race live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is their patriotic race, so we're definitely going to see some special patriotic schemes out and about on the track, and we will have more info on that as we go along. But Liam, welcome in the booth, bud.
Hey Mike, how we doing? It's been a little while since we've worked together, but yeah, like you mentioned, we've got a special race tonight here at Charlotte. 200 laps. We've got a patriotic theme, and a lot of people are going to be representing service members that were close to them, maybe family members and stuff like that. So a really cool deal. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and plus it's probably one of the best mile-and-a-half ovals on the service, so can't go wrong there.
Definitely cannot. And as we look through here, we definitely have a full field of, looks like 23, maybe 24 drivers that are joining us. Last week's winner at Watkins Glen was Blake Howell. He dominated that race, leading all the laps. Austin Missler came in second after starting 15th, and Dylan McDonald rounded out the third position.
Yeah, definitely a good race that we had last week, and I mean, we're looking for more of the same tonight. And speaking of tonight, we've got a little bit of something new little bit of a bracket style situation going on where these guys are going to be going one-on-one with each other in an elimination style tournament. The better finisher moves on to the next week to keep going in the bracket, and I think that's going to lead to a very exciting next couple of weeks for, I mean, an extra couple of different reasons.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's something something new, something to get a little bit excited about, because sometimes in the middle of the season you just kind of coast along, but here they've set up several weeks. It starts here, goes through Bristol, and winds up the final race is going to be at Auto Club, so definitely something to be aware of.
And Auto Club is absolutely one of my favorite tracks. Should be a good place to end this little tournament there. It's a real driver's racetrack, a racer's racetrack, wide and abrasive, so something for us to look forward to in these next couple of weeks with this bracket style tournament throughout the middle part of the season.
Yeah, it definitely is.
We're finishing up practice right now. You're seeing cars on track from this beautiful aerial shot of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, almost completely under the lights right now, and these guys are going to be racing well into the night. Like we said, we've got a long one in for you tonight, 300 miles, 200 laps here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Kind of our version here of the Coca-Cola 600. It's the longest night in MSRL.
Yep, and they are getting ready to go. We do have 3 laps.
Yep, 3 laps to qualify. Some of these guys are just starting to get up on the board, and so we'll keep you posted as lap times get dropped and as these guys put down their laps. Right now we see from the aerial view Bill Sleep pulling up out of the pits. Single car qualifying right now, so we can't show you everybody's laps all at once, but we'll jump around, do the best we can as we watch Bill Sleep work that inside lane. Austin Missler has started his lap. He's the first one to begin a qualifying lap, followed by Jonathan Cogswell and Ryan Douglas, who both just took the green flag in their qualifying laps. Bill Sleep working the bottom side in his first warm-up lap. You get a total of 3 qualifying laps plus your warm-up lap. So here's Bill Sleep taking the green flag. Let's see what kind of line he runs throughout the first lap. He's taking that bottom side. Not going quite all the way up to the wall. Doesn't need all that momentum quite yet. Chris Wheeler sits on top right now with a 30.60. Blake Howland second with a 30.63. We watch the 38 coming up off the turn number 2 as he's got the best lap right now. Austin Missler quickest through the first half, lost a little bit in the second half. See what kind of lap he puts down. A 30.22 for Austin Missler. Let's see if Chris Wheeler coming up off of turn number 4 can capitalize and try to take back the pole.
Jonathan Cogswell here jumps up with a 30.45.
24, Ryan Douglas coming up off of turn 4, or 2 rather. He sat in 3rd place, has now jumped back to 5th as other people jump up. Pole sitter provisional pole is still Austin Missler right now. Zach Woods jumps up with a 30.36 to 2nd place.
Yeah, Austin Missler just threw down a 30.37.
Jonathan Cogswell gets down there with a 30.30 on his final lap to sit in 2nd. Now, Kevin Gibney Jr., Gibb, gets himself 2nd place with a 30.28. Zach Woods coming across the line to finish up his lap. Does he improve? Not this time. No, he's going to sit in 4th place for right now, but he's still got about half the guys who still haven't taken a lap yet. Santos getting his first lap down. Greg Wood Jr. just finishing his first lap. We'll see what he put down. He goes up to 8th place with a 30.47. Mark Gonzalez getting up onto the racetrack. Him and Ricky Gonzalez both have very similar paint schemes. The only difference is pretty much the number in that one. Gonzalez has gone back to the pits. Santos puts down a 30.68. That's good for 12th right now.
All right, sorry about that on Facebook. We technical issue, but looks like we got it fixed. So
Appreciate everybody sticking with us.
I already got a few guys in the chat here. Brian Douglas, David Mayo. Like Greg Wood Jr. is out on track here. He puts up a 30.22. Good enough for second place now.
And that's probably down to the 1,000th with Austin Mittler there for the pole. But Greg Wood sits in second place. Santos just finished up his run. Could not improve from a 30.68. Ran that a couple of times, though. Phil Sleep also with a 30.68, setting in fourth. Mark Parkhurst and John McIntyre getting out on the racetrack as well. Dylan McDonald working midway through his second lap. You see Mark Parkhurst coming through turns 3 and 4. Getting right down to the bottom side. Slides up just a little bit. That can't be good. That middle part of 3 and 4 gets really tight. That gets that wall coming up off the floor to be really inviting. Something to take a look at for the rest of the night here. But the first lap for Mark Parkhurst, a 30.58. Dylan McDonald jumps up to 7th with a 30.41. John McIntyre just took the green flag for his first lap. So we'll keep you posted on what he's got going on as we watch Dylan McDonald down the back straightaway, finishing up his final lap of qualifying.
So McDonald making it way towards the line here. See what he's going to get. 30.35 jumps up to 5th. Mark Parkhurst is working his way down the backstretch.
Final timer out for Mark Parkhurst. We've seen him slide up a couple of times in corners. Might lead you to believe it's more of a longer run setup, but we'll see what's going on for turns 3 and 4. Holds it right there on the bottom, right against that blue-white line. Coming up off of turn number 4. Looking to be a strong performance. We'll see where it places. He does improve a little bit, a 30.50. Couple of hundredths gained that time around. That's got to feel good for him, getting almost into the top 10. We'll see John McIntyre come across, take his second lap. Got a 30.74 right now. Mark Gonzalez jumps to 14th with 30.62 after completing his first lap.
Yeah, down the backstretch, almost into that wall, and then they'll drop down right to that line. Get as close as they can a little bit, float up, and make their way to that start-finish line.
Yeah, I suspect we'll see that blue and white line come into play a lot more throughout the course of the race. I feel it's easier to save your tires if you're working that line.
Mark Gonzalez, he just completed that lap with a 30.15.
Let's see if Ricky Gonzalez can come around to try to lock out the front rows. We've got those Fort Worth Fire 8 and 88 cars looking hot tonight, but not too hot.
Yeah, we don't need
Fire
any.
does a great job.
Oh, and he jumps up to P2.
We'll see what happens on this final lap. Mark Gonzalez actually gave it up after his second lap. Said, I took pole, good enough for me. Ricky Gonzalez is going to give it a third try here and see if he can improve and potentially take Mark up off the pole. Through 3 and 4, rocking that bottom side. He gets right up next to that line, about a foot up off of it, if even. Closer than we've seen a lot of people hugging that line, come down the front straightaway. And he does improve, but not quite enough. A 30.17 keeps him in second place, just 2 100ths off of Mark Gonzalez. And that second sector, that second half of the racetrack, rather, is where the difference was made, just a couple of hundredths.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see because all of these guys are basically within a half a second.
Oh, absolutely, and it's going to be a long race. We've got ourselves a couple of stage breaks up in here, so that should kind of keep people relatively close and keep the strategies a little bit closer. But having this type of a field, we've got 20 cars that have already put down a qualifying lap. Angel Santiago is sitting out here putting down a lap. See what he's got going on to be our 21st qualifier. And then we've got 2 more that might be here to join us. With a field size of 21 to 23, a half a second difference, that just makes for a crazy competitive race. And especially with comers and goers in a long night like this, we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. And there's going to be plenty of time. So if you're in the YouTube or Facebook chat, definitely hit us up. Tell us who you're rooting for. Subscribe, like, hit the bell notification. You know the way you do.
Yeah, we want to chat with you throughout the course of this race. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we definitely couldn't be doing this without you guys tuning in. Definitely appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Angel Santiago putting down his 3rd and final qualifying lap after a couple of slower laps at first. We'll see what he can put down. Definitely a good run in that first half of the lap compared to the first 2 laps. See if he can keep that speed up, potentially gain a few spots through 3 and 4. Across the stripe, takes a little bit of turf there. We'll see what he's got. All the way up to 9th with a 30-37.
Yeah, it looks like he might have been playing a little bit of possum there on the first couple laps and nailed it down that 3rd one.
That is definitely a possibility.
So we've got, looks like Hurley, Barnes, and Langley that haven't taken the lap yet. They got about 50 seconds, so I'm assuming that's not going to happen.
More than likely not.
But we got David.
Joseph McDonald on YouTube says, "Good luck, Dylan McDonald. Drive it like you stole it and refuse to lose." So Dylan McDonald's got a fan in the chat. David Mayo also saying, "Get it, Ryan. Be rooting for Team Send It." So definitely appreciate everybody tuning in here live on YouTube. We're also live on Facebook, Sim Racing Media Facebook page. Go ahead and give us a follow there, just so it's easier for you to figure out what we're doing throughout the week, because we've got racing every night of the week. But everybody's getting ready to grid up here.
Last couple guys here. All right. So we got the Gonzalez brothers representing the Fort Worth Fire. Mark and Ricky.
There is a couple of small differences that I didn't notice before. We've got High Rock and Hendrick Cars up on the 88, and we've got LGCY Power Installation Services, and it looks like a Joker logo on the 8. So not that that'll help us much when these guys are going 195 miles an hour into a corner, but just a couple of subtle differences on these cars.
Yep. Yeah, they got their usual sponsors mentioned there as well. Row 2 is Austin Missler and Greg Wood Jr. Then we've got Kevin Gibney Jr. and Jonathan Cogswell in row 3. Row 4, Dylan McDonald and Zach Woods. Row 5, Angel Santiago and Ira Kohlhaas.
At row 6, we're going to have Blake Howell and George Jewell. Row 7, Dylan Trader and James McCanney in 14th. We've got Mark Parkhurst in 15th, Ryan Douglas 16th, Chris Wheeler, then Jordan Dozadeli in row number 9, John McIntyre and Santos, James Santoyo, rounding out the top 20. And then we've got Bill Sleep, Matt Langley, and Bud Barnes rounding out the field here today. So 23 cars ready for 200 laps here. Stage breaks will be lap 60, lap 120, and of course we'll run to the finish after that. Mike, I tell you what, 23 cars at one of the most historic tracks in all of NASCAR, racing under the lights. Does it get any better than this on a Friday night?
I don't know. I mean, if you're not here, I mean, probably going to wish you would be, because these guys are definitely ready to throw down here at Charlotte.
Yeah, one of my personal favorite leagues to call. We've got a good car count most every time we do this thing, and well, these next gen cars provide such good racing, and the Masters of Speed Racing League is really good about showing that. They're going to give you 200 of the best laps that they can here. We're working through turns 3 and 4. Mark and Ricky, Gonzalez on the front row. Greg Wood and Austin Missler. Road number 2.
And you got Codlow and our Daytona winner, Kevin Gibney Jr. there. Pace car ducks in.
Guys get into the restart zone, waiting for the flag to wave. Green flag is out, a little bit of tire spin, but we are underway in the Charlotte 300. An even start up front. I couldn't tell you who's out taking the lead right now. They were dead even getting into turn number 1, but Mark Gonzalez takes the lead with the inside lane as everybody seems to sort it out, get a little bit of space between them through turns 1 and 2.
Got a little bit of 3-wide action back here with McDonald, Pujols, and Santiago there a little bit. They kind of sorted that out a little bit, and then we go back up front. We have Zach Woods down on the on the high side with the 31 of Gibney Jr. to his inside.
They get working that bottom side, trying not to lose a spot to the 35 of Dylan McDonald. Dylan's got himself a couple of fans in the chat, but we've got a crash. Santos and John McIntyre have crashed. That's going to bring out our first caution of the day.
Let's go back and take a look here and see what transpired. That's
yeah, we're on board with the chopper. You see the 32 gets sideways, getting up into the corner. Goes down up off the track. The 2 car, maybe in reaction to that, tries to get up and arc his corner a little bit and just lose his grip in the rear, gets turned up towards the wall, and nowhere for the 9 of Santos to go.
Yeah, that was... Looks like he...
Kind of a weird-looking deal. We might have to take another look at that. Watch the 2 getting down in there. He's got a low entry, and I don't know if he's reacted to the 32 in front of him, but he's got a low entry. It looks like he maybe tries to arc it out.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go back here. So as he comes in...
He might have even been loose through the tri-oval, the 2 car.
Yeah, it looks like he was sliding back and forth, and then just got those wheels turned and went straight up the track. Yeah, man.
That's an odd-looking deal. I'd almost wonder if there wasn't a little bit of a moisture up in that first turn there, just given the way that these guys lost grip. But given the fact that it's a simulator and the leaders didn't also, we know that is not the case.
Yeah, I don't think rain's been here yet.
Not quite, but there have been a lot of cool things that have been here. Humpy Wheeler was known for always trying to put on a show for the fans and try to get people in the stands early by having some stunt shows up in the infield of Charlotte Motor Speedway before the race. And I think at one point there was some talks about trying to get Dale Earnhardt to either take control of the dinosaur that they had to crush cars in the infield or be involved in that in some way, shape, or form. I might have to look a bit more into that, but some random history from Charlotte Motor Speedway here as we work the first caution of the race. Mark Gonzalez is your leader as we complete the 4th lap of the race.
Definitely have a couple more people checking in on the chat. Matt, see you there. Things going good? We'll catch you tomorrow on a race call there. Chris Hamilton, Bingo Dylan McDonald. So definitely has a fan club there.
definitely happy to see fans up in the chat, friends of drivers, and just people who enjoy racing. You know,
Yeah.
Got-
Angel in the Facebook chat says he's struggling big time here, so he's hoping for a top 15. So we'll see. He's able to do that.
After an early incident, he might have a leg up on a couple of guys here, but we've got a very long race to go. 195 laps. That's still probably about 292 miles.
Yeah, definitely have a ways to go. It is early. Work our way to lap 60 and get that stage break and see where everybody shakes up there.
Should be getting the 1 to green here. These guys do a choose cone type of rule, so the 88 taking the outside, 8 on the inside.
And a little bit
Like
of
Cogswell's going to jump up to the outside of row number 2 as Wood and Missler stick to the inside. Zach Woods will also jump up to the outside in the 60. Evan Gibney Jr. is sitting up there in 7th place, 4th on the inside. Gibb, like you mentioned, our Daytona winner. Blake Howell, Dylan McDonald, and I believe Ira Kohlhaas will round out our top 10 here after the choose cone rule.
they will get reset and that pulling in there. Like
That looks like the 13, a lap down car, just getting his spot back up in there and going to try to get himself back in the lead lap here. He's hoping for another quick caution, but a lot of these guys are out here hoping that they can get some laps in. I believe a fuel run goes about 55 laps, so these guys can't go quite the whole way on a stage without pitting.
yeah, I believe you're right there.
I might be wrong on the length, but I don't think they can make it.
Yeah, I don't think they can either, as the 88's on that high side. If he's able to, yep, he gets away. Looks like the 8 was a little bit slow there and had Greg Wood Jr. right in his back bumper. At least top 3 are nose to tail for a little ways.
A little bit of a checkup up top is going to give that top 3 a chance to get single file. Now 4th is also single file. The first side-by-side battle is for 5th. As you see the 60 of Zach Woods trying to work the outside of that Mountain Dew Code Red car. Austin Missler still working the inside, trying not to lose that 6th position.
Yeah, Blake Howell's working the high side there. I believe that high line's probably going to come in later in the runs, but early in the run you might lose a little bit of positions. But Blake Howell did just run the fastest lap of a 32.47.
Fastest lap of the race so far. I think the outside lane is going to be quick to start, but it's going to kill your tires. And like you mentioned, the later we get into this race, the more people work it in up there, the better off it's going to be throughout the long run. So you see that 26 able to just work ahead a little bit of the 60 coming up off of turn number 4. See if he gets that run, but Zach Woods holding very strong on the inside is actually going to nose ahead as they work down the front straightaway.
Yeah, these guys battling back and forth, and as you can see, that lower line seems to get a much better run coming off the corner, but Blake's letting that high line kind of float there a little bit and able to stay right with him.
It looks like it's going to work out as he works that top side. The 60 just can't quite get his entry right. I'm not sure if it's because of the car up top, as he's now under fire from the 10 of Austin Missler, but the 60 struggling to get his entry. You see him losing a lot of time. It definitely helped his exit racing for the 5th position there with Blake Howell, but seems like it's tough for him to get the power down, or to keep it rolling rather on entry. He did a little bit better there, but we've got a race for the lead right now as the 78, Greg Wood Jr., he took the lead and is now back under fire with a little bit of a crossover from the 88. Gonzalez slides up just a touch. 78's going to let off the corner, and we're still side by side down the front straightaway. A little bit of side drafting going down into turn number 1, and help from the 8 car right behind the 88. Let's see what that does.
Yeah, you got Mark and Ricky working together a little bit there. But that side draft, especially once they did that new update, if if you get a little bit too close, it's almost like they wind up sucking each other together. So you got to be just in the right spot so you don't wreck. Oh, whoa. Mark Gonzalez got loose there and is into the wall. But we're staying green right now.
He's got a broken toe leg. He's trying to stay up into the wall, stay out of everybody's way. No caution yet, but...
Oh, through the caution now.
Caution is out now as everybody tries to avoid, and it looked like these guys just racing hard for the lead. Made a little bit of contact coming up off of turn 4. Gonzalez was sideways trying to keep it corrected, and then unfortunately caught the turf. That sent him up into the outside wall hard.
Yeah, let's take a look here. It's going down to that blue line. Like he's making a decent pass there on Greg Wood Jr.
When he starts sliding up, Greg Wood staying stationary and coming down a little bit compared to that seam. They start coming together, and as they come up off of turn number 4...
Yeah, they both start floating up a little bit, but...
Yeah, 88,
Mark
he was
just goes a little bit more.
Getting a little bit straighter off the wheel, comes up. They make contact, and it looks like the 88's okay now, but then he starts to correct back to the inside, and once he hits this turf and reconnects to this pavement, it's just kind of out of control there. A huge hit to the outside wall. The 27 right behind with a very sketchy moment. Trying to think Cogswell, he's currently sitting 5th place. He had a bit of a time getting around that. Doesn't look like he came to the pits, but yeah, you can tell the way that car is shaking. He's got a broken toe leg from that heavy wall contact. And
luckily able to get out of the way there.
Yeah, I think a good call to throw the caution at that point. Just given how many cars were still coming, had to get around them. It's best to not have your race ruined early by trying to avoid something that wasn't really anything of your doing. But it looks like the 88 is able to get out of the pits and stay on the lead lap, use up a fast repair potentially, and get her back going. But you definitely don't want to use one of those 13 laps into a 200-lap race.
Definitely do not, but it looks like the back half of our field has hit pit lane. Santiago, Sleep, Gonzalez, Kohlhaas, Gibney, Jewel, and James McCaney all hit pit road that time.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how fresh tires, what kind of a difference fresh tires make after a couple of heat cycles on relatively young tires. But this track is starting to get old. Stickers might be the way to go. And I guess we're going to find out if we'll say maybe 8 or so green flag laps is enough to make the difference.
Yeah, hopefully the guys that did get that fresh rubber take their time a little bit to get through there and don't try and use them up too quick or get back to the throttle a little too soon and wind up spinning. Because that's been known to happen as well.
Yeah, these cars with a little bit more power than the Gen 6 cars. Obviously not the power that we are accustomed to over the last, 20 years or so. But, we've got more than just the 550. Tire spin is definitely a thing, especially with these 5-gear transmissions, these shorter gear ratios. You're getting a little bit more purr, so the torque is going to put down a little bit better.
And if you're if you want to follow along and watch what these guys are racing for, they do have their Scratch and Claw mid-season tournament where every week is a battle. So there'll definitely be something to watch towards the later stages of the race. But they go from Charlotte to Bristol to Worldwide Technology to Vegas, and then the final week's at Auto Club.
It's going to be a blast as these guys come up off of turn number 4 to take the choose. 78 takes the inside, 8 on the outside. 26 inside, 60 outside, 27 inside, 10 outside. Looks like the next 3 choose the inside lane, and well, that might give a couple guys in the back a chance to go gain a few spots before the green flag.
You know, one guy, look at this. Looks at Santos. He's up 12 positions.
Yeah, we saw him involved in that early caution there. More than likely, you know, took a pit stop, took that fast repair, and is now taking advantage of the fact that nobody seems to want the outside right now. Maybe everybody thinking it's a little bit too abrasive on tires this early in the race, but as the sun goes down, the grip gets a little bit better. I expect rubber to fall off these cars, and you know, we'll widen this groove out. We'll see a prominent middle line at least.
Oh, definitely. It's only a matter of time before they try and do a little three wide racing as well.
200 laps might be long enough to work in that top side if things get strung out enough, if tires get worn down. We'll have to see. We've got 45, 44 laps to go when we take the green flag in the rest of this stage, so we'll see. Still don't think anybody can make it, but
the guys with 13 that pitted on lap 13 might be able to be close. Greg Wood Jr. has the button this time. Got Blake Howell behind him. And the monsters are loose on the track again. Greg Wood Jr. gets an awesome jump there, jumps up right to that high side. Ricky Gonzalez was a little bit slower. Blake Howell takes advantage and is in P2 now.
Blake Howell able to take advantage of the top 3, getting all single file, and now for 4th place we got Zach Woods and Jonathan Cogswell racing side by side. I did go and double check. It's a 65% fuel limit, so that will more than likely leave these guys pitting after about 35 to 40 laps, if I had to guess. But we'll definitely see some interesting strategy calls in this first stage and second stage, maybe even into the third one. If I'm correct, we could potentially see a 2-stopper win the race, but got a long way to go before that happens, and a fantastic battle right now for 6th place as Austin Missler trying to hold on the inside lane. And look at these guys getting right up next to the wall up front. Greg Wood and the 26 of Blake Howell as we watch.
These guys are all over the track.
Yeah, we saw them getting right up next to the wall coming up off of turn number 4. Greg Wood is sliding up the track just a little bit. That opens the door for the 26 of Blake Howell, and it looked like the 78 had to let up just a bit coming up off the turn number 2. And now we're side by side going down into turn number 3. Is the 26 going to be able to clear, or does the 78 get a strong run up top? Looks like the 78 with a nice run up top. Did not have to lift that time, gets clear coming across the start-finish line.
Now Blake Howell staying right behind him, was trying to make that inside line work. Now he jumps to the outside. Gonna try and maybe cross him up here, go to that high side, and then drop down in the corners because Greg Wood Jr. seems to be staying high.
And right up back to the back bumper here. And now the 26 working the top side. We're side by side for 3rd place, though, is the 8.
These guys are...
of Ricky Gonzalez under fire from the 27. We're seeing that high side working a lot sooner than we thought it would, it seems.
Well, we said it would be faster, but it also would tear up your tires a little bit. But these guys are going at it like crazy. As we see, Blake Howell was able to make that pass on Greg Wood Jr. But Greg Wood Jr. jumps down to the inside, gonna try and pass him back right here on this corner.
Turn number 4, we've seen how tight it gets as these guys get about a foot away from each other, but that 26, Blake Howell, able to pull out the outside momentum and gap him by about a car length to get back down into turn number 1. So see Wood back to the inside, trying one more time, slides up just a little bit.
Right to his back bumper there, but the way they're racing, it brought Ricky Gonzalez and Jonathan Cogswell and Dylan McDonald all up there with him as well.
It sure has, and you mentioned how the high side, well, we've talked about how the high side can take away, it can wear down these tires, and I wonder if maybe that's something we're seeing early on in this round. Those guys working the outside, trying to get the speed on each other, and now the 78 under fire from the 8, not only the 8, but the 27 of Jonathan Cogswell as well.
Yeah, Ricky Gonzalez, one of the faster cars in practice as well, and he is trying to move back up towards the front. Had a little hiccup there and went back a couple positions, but now he's on the move and charging up towards the front again.
Yeah, I feel like one of the tough things about this track, and maybe I don't know because I'm not a race car driver. I'm not on the track, but I feel like the inside lane is better for conserving tires early, but the outside lane speed is just so good. It makes it so tough to make a pass on the inside. I've always felt when I run Charlotte, and I don't run next-gen cars a lot, if ever, I've always felt that rocking that white line is the best thing to do for your tires.
We have a caution.
Yes, caution is on the Speedway. We'll try to...
Looks like Andrew Hurley, but let me see here. You can take a look.
Andrew Hurley from a lap down. He was slow on the inside lane. Right side damage. He's got a broken toe link. You can see that right front.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Go back here.
Can... Looks like Angel Santiago got caught up in there trying to avoid.
Right up into the wall.
It's like into another car, but that right front toe link on the 47 is broken. That puts him up into the 25 of Matt Langley, who's just an innocent bystander at that point.
Up into the wall, into the 20, yeah. Oof.
Not sure if maybe Angel was net-coated into that inside car, but it looks like he's even got a broken right front or left front suspension there. As you see, it's not even turning
it's not
anymore.
Even spinning now.
That is one of the biggest problems we've seen with the next-gen cars is everybody's into the pits right now. This should be enough. 35 to 40 laps we mentioned, maybe with cautions up to 40 is the fuel run with 65% fuel. These guys should be able to make it to the end on fuel here, but those tires are not going to be pleased. As Greg Wood gets up off the pits first. Looks like the 4 is second. The 32, Dylan Trader comes up third.
That looks like it. Let's jump back up here.
Or no, Dylan Trader stays out with Kevin Gibney.
Yeah, Kevin Gibney and Dylan Trader Dylan Trader last pitted on lap 3. Kevin Gibney pitted on lap 13. So it looks like Greg Wood Jr., Mark Parkhurst, Chris Wheeler, and Blake Howell. All make their way through the pits, and Chris Wheeler.
Gonzalez with a pit penalty, speeding on pit lane, has to go to the back. That's a tough break for the man who was running third place before that caution came out. Looks like Gibb is going to rock the apron right now. We'll see if he's coming into the pits. Maybe stayed out to lead a lap, and yep, now Gibb is into the pits. The 32, Dylan Trader is going to take the race lead, and Greg Wood, first guy on fresh tires. That'll be an interesting show to see if Dylan Trader can try to hold on.
I'm thinking that's probably not gonna happen because looks like he probably took tires on lap 3. So. But that does put Greg Wood Jr., Mark Parkhurst, and Chris Wheeler. Parkhurst and Wheeler are up 12 and 13 positions, respectively.
Again, the choose coming up off of turn number 4 this time. It looks like the 32 has already jumped up to the outside to make his choose. So maybe he knows his tires aren't going to hold up that well. Greg Wood still undecided, sitting in the middle of the racetrack right now. Looks like Parkhurst would like the bottom.
I would assume that's probably where most of these guys would rather be the way it was looking there, but I guess you never know. We're gonna complete 27 laps this time.
Approaching the halfway point in stage number 1. Does indeed choose the outside, and look at the number of cars that have chosen the inside, just knowing that that car on the outside has older tires. 27 jumps all the way up to 4th place on this restart there, because I believe the top 4 on the inside lane all elected to stay there.
Yeah, it looks like it. We have Greg Wood Jr. And then you have Mark Parker, our current points leader, up there as well. So we'll definitely see if Cogswell and Missler are able to get by Dylan Trader without too much of an incident if Trader's tires do not hold on here. Dylan Trader does have the his dad, Sergeant James Trader, of the 820 Red Horse Squadron on his car. Representing that Air Force there.
So 32 laps to go in stage number 1. Dylan Trader on the outside. Greg Wood, first car on fresh tires on the inside. Let's see how this restart goes as they get up into the Geico restart zone. Trader on the gas early. Probably the best case scenario for everyone behind him. Greg Wood gets up on the gas. Is able to clear 2nd or 3rd place rather, but here comes 27 looking on the outside with a bit of a push from the... Oh, look at this! The 32 is already having to let off into the corner. And a huge run to the outside for Greg Wood. The 32 is going to get swallowed up. They're 3 wide down the back straightaway.
4 wide almost.
Almost. Everybody's trying to get where they can, trying to get around that 32 on older tires. He gets sent up
Blake
into the
Howell
26.
into the wall.
And we've got a crash off of turn 4.
Blake Howell into the wall. We've got Chris Wheeler, Santiago, Gonzalez. Oh my.
And that was a big one, and that might start to take guys out of contention with fast repairs and whatnot. We saw the 32 was obviously slow on the inside, doing everything he can to rock that middle, but it looks like he might get a touch here from the 38 that sends him up into the 26, or maybe no, he just corrects and slides up into the 26. Howell unfortunately gets the wall here, and the 38 sliding up the racetrack has nowhere to go but into the back of the 32.
At 38, then clips the 35. 32 gets in front of Zach Woods. Santos makes it through there.
Yeah, he was blessed by the netcode gods there. He almost got a tap, but was able to make it through without any heavy damage. And now you just see everybody checking up, getting down to the inside, trying to avoid that spun 38 car on the outside. And nowhere for Gonzalez to go. Stuck up against the fence there, and he's going to get hit by Gibb.
Yeah, let's go back here and look from Santiago there. He gets, yeah, the 8 gets into the 38 and then spins down. Santiago trying to avoid him, hits him right in that passenger door almost.
It didn't look like heavy contact there for him, but there's the 47. That's Andrew Hurley involved in another crash. A very, very tough start to the day for that 47 team. Those guys just cannot catch a break in the first 30 laps of this thing.
And that is just crazy. We got the Greg Wood Jr. back up front. Red, white, and blue, never forget.
Never. As we approach, actually, the weekend of, the anniversary of.
Exactly.
And yeah, just, you know, given the patriotic weekend of the race and the weekend that we have coming up, just, well, Mike put it perfectly. Never forget, regardless of the situation, whether it be 9/11 or whether it be somebody that you've lost in combat or really anything involved with that. Just never forget. And
back here and look at Blake Howell.
Yeah, it'll be
Looks like
interesting to see if we can get a right side look at that car. If he's got major damage from that contact with the wall in the 32.
if we can get a good look here.
Doesn't look too bad.
No, it doesn't. He's riding around with his grandparents Robert and Sheila Geary on his car. And we've got we have Mark Gonzalez and Ricky Gonzalez here as their dad Carlos Gonzalez on the car, retired Fort Worth fireman who served 36 years on the department. Back and see if we got James. Here we go. George Jewell has his grandpa Dewey Jewell on board. He was in the Navy CB, so definitely hanging out there as we get these guys ready to line back up. And it looks like once again a lot of the drivers are selecting that inside row, but Cogswell and Missler had that outside line working earlier, and they're going to stick with it. 35 of Dylan McDonald as well. Blake Howell staying up there is on the inside lane. We've got Greg Wood Jr., Mark Parkhurst. It looks like Santos Santoya there. Bud Barnes on the inside as well.
Tell you what, as we come to this restart, I am not surprised whatsoever to see Blake Howell up on the top side. He has been one of the pioneers trying to get up next to that wall. We saw him racing for the lead with Gonzalez before, and now we've actually got Mark Gonzalez sitting back up at third place, like you mentioned before. It's interesting in 33 laps just how much the field has already seen a lot of comers and goers, but after some early incidents, some fast repairs gone, got 27 laps to go in this stage as the pace car pulls off. Greg Wood leading him down into the Geico restart zone. Gets on the gas a little bit early, but pretty hard there and gets a nice restart. Mark Gonzalez is already 3 car lengths back. The outside lane did not get anything going that time by, and they're going to be top 4 on the inside. Almost single file. Actually, no. Jonathan Cogswell fights back hard on the outside against the 9 of Santos.
Yeah, Cogswell just did not get going. But he does have Missler behind him, and he jumps down in front of Santos there. And the 35 of Dylan McDonald.
Almost 3 wide coming up off of turn number 4. Dylan McDonald trying to figure out a way to get around that number 9, but also trying to keep that number 10 right behind him. The tough spot to be in with just a couple of inches between the front bumper and the back bumper of these cars. But side by side now, you see the 26 working the inside lane as the 10 almost getting up into the wall coming up off of turn number 2. There goes the 4 trying to race Greg Wood here for the lead as Mark Gonzalez is actually your leader that races for second place.
Yeah, Mark Gonzalez, after getting side by side with Greg Wood Jr. early in the race and having that damage, is back out front. Mark Parkhurst up 13 positions, sitting P2. Jonathan Cogswell recovered from the slow start there on that restart and is up to P3. Greg Wood Jr., after that awesome restart, is drifted back to P4.
And we had ourselves a bit of a moment on the front straightaway, but everybody gets it through okay. The field is spread out just a bit more throughout the mid-pack. You see the 26 working the inside, making a power move on the 9. 9 working the outside of the 26, going down into turn number 1. Doing everything he can to get that outside lane, get that outside momentum working, but now we'll see if that changes with the 78 sliding up in front of him. There goes the 10 of Missler getting up in single file, and now is going to try to maybe pull that 26 through as Greg Wood right up next to the wall.
Yeah, Greg Wood next to that wall, drifting back after that restart there. You got Santos making his way through too.
Greg Wood potentially not liking the adjustments that are made, but Mark Gonzalez, after fighting his way through the entire field after an earlier incident, holds the lead by almost half a second as they're side by side getting into turn number 3 for 3rd place now. That's going to push the 35. Dylan McDonald up into 30, gets up clear, and I know some fans on the YouTube chat are going to be pretty happy about that for a podium spot for the 35. Dylan McDonald.
Blake Howell making the pass on the inside of Parkhurst as well. Having that recovery is Austin Missler. Austin Missler gets loose.
An excellent save.
Wow. Yeah, that was a heck of a slave with everybody coming up behind him.
Yeah, these cars don't have much for slip angle compared to the rest of them. You can't really drive it loose like you used to be able to. So to be able to get that sideways and catch the car, especially touching the apron, that's probably a pretty scary moment in the car, but pretty cool to watch up in the booth.
Yeah, I mean, even though he did that, he didn't lose really any positions. He's making his way back to where he was. And as we look up front, we've got Dylan McDonald battling on the inside of Jonathan Cogswell. He is able to take that position and get up into P2.
People aren't really able to work that outside lane quite as well this run, but these guys have chased down our leader, drafting down to Mark Gonzalez right now as the 27 tries to look down to the inside, maybe getting a little bit of a wake, has to let off, and that might give the 26 a chance to look down to the inside down the back straightaway. Not going to take the angle this time, but Austin Missler not taking any chances to try to get around this 4 car. Says, I think I'm faster than you. I think I can get up and race with those guys. And he's already got a 2-3 car length gap over the 4, Mark Parkhurst.
Yeah, Parkhurst and Greg Wood Jr. after this restart has just been bleeding positions at the moment.
You see the 9 works a little bit of a higher line, tries to come back down and get a little bit of a run. We'll see if he makes a move getting down into 3. Not quite enough doing this time. The 4 slides up wide, and now the 9's got to get off the gas and try to turn down below him. He's going to get that move made, but the 25, or rather 29, that Pepsi machine, Ira Kohlhaas, tried to take advantage of both.
Yeah, it looked like he was making up ground that didn't have anywhere to go, but luckily he was able to slow down just a little bit and was able to make that pass on Mark Parkhurst.
Mark Parkhurst, after that restart, he came off the pits in second after the pit stops. And obviously we've had a caution since then, but Mark Parkhurst was up front, losing spots, still up 7 from where he started, but can't be feeling good about his race car right now.
Definitely not, as it looks like Bud Barnes is going to make the pass on his inside as well. And it looks like Matt Langley, guy we haven't talked about too much here, is looking to his inside, is going to try and make that pass coming down this backstretch.
Absolutely. Matt Langley sitting here in the top 10. He's got himself Ricky Gonzalez, one of the fastest cars in the field behind him. So you know that these guys in front, he wants to pounce on that to keep that top 10 spot. As you look to the inside, Ricky Gonzalez making that pass coming up off of turn number 4. Doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a fight, but we'll see getting down into turn number 1. Z25 gets right up next to the wall, tries to arc his corner and cut back down. Doesn't fight too hard, but tries to get up into the draft to keep momentum with him. Not using up all the racetrack there coming up off of turn number 2, though. And you wonder if that's maybe indicative of a good handling race car as much as the dirty air is kind of affecting his cornering.
Yeah, definitely. Ricky Gonzalez looking to the inside of Mark Parker is going to try and make that pass on him as well. And it looks like he will complete it.
No questions asked. I'll take that. Thank you.
Yep, and then,
into the wall is the 25 there. We just talked about him.
Matt Langley into the wall, able to save it. Good thing he was able to save it, but it looks like he's going to probably lose a couple positions as Zach Woods is making his way up through the field again.
We've seen how easily toe links can break on these cars, so that 25, you saw him just kind of waving a little bit, trying to figure out what he's got in the front end of that car. It seems to be okay, but obviously not comfortable with it after that wall contact. He's going to be happy when this stage ends in about 13 laps. He's able to bring it back to the boys and see what's going on with it.
Yeah, he'll definitely want to hit that pit lane as you see the sparks flying on the 07 of George Jewell there.
There's George Jewell making that pass up on the 25, and I think Matt Langley is just firmly in the boat of let's make it to the end of this stage, let's figure out what we've got, and move on from there. That was a sketchy moment getting up into the wall there, coming up off the corner, but well, he's starting to get into some traffic and maybe feel a little bit racy. Nope, not quite.
Look back at
He's getting out of the way. He's getting out of the way. Yeah, 25 does not like his car. We might have hit him with the announcer's drinks as he was running in the top 10, but made that wall contact, and something just doesn't feel right for him. He wants to bring it down to those boys up pit lane. See Greg Wood sitting in 14th place after restarting up front, now under fire from Kevin Gibney Jr.
Let's see if he can make it here, but Greg Wood Jr.'s been struggling since that restart. But still a long race. Got a caution coming up in 10 laps, so we'll see what happens here. As we go back up front, though, Jonathan Cogswell able to make that pass on Dylan McDonald. Now he leads this trio up towards Mark Gonzalez. But Mark Gonzalez is almost checked out.
Yeah, he's got himself a 2-second lead, and I wonder how much Dylan McDonald used up his tires working the inside against those guys racing hard, trying to get those spots. How much that allowed that 88 to get away. But as we've got 10 laps to go, he's got about 2.5 seconds. I'm not sure if these guys will be able to draft up to him at this point.
Yeah, I don't know that it matters too much unless you're going to try and unless you want to try and win that stage. I mean, because you know everybody's going to hit pit lane as soon as this caution comes out for that stage break.
Looks like the 26 Howell's got himself a nice run. He looks to the inside down the front straightaway. He's got better tires. We'll see if he's got the run. And yeah, the 35, Dylan McDonald, does not fight whatsoever. The 26 goes in hard, slides up the racetrack, gives McDonald a chance to get right back up to the rear bumper. But he's not going to try to make a move here. He's just going to try to push him forward, thinking that's maybe my best chance to make progress right now.
Yeah, 35.
Also potentially thinking damage control.
Yeah, 35 looks down to the inside. Just running a little bit different line than Howell there, but he's staying relatively close with him. But these front two, Mark Gonzalez is out to a 2.25 second lead over Jonathan Cogswell, and then almost a second back to Blake Howell there, and that trio coming up behind him because Austin Missler's closing in as well.
Yeah, Missler doing everything he can to try to gain back what he lost after getting so loose up through turns 1 and 2 earlier on. But it seems like he's been able to kind of conserve his tires better throughout the course of this fuel run as he's chasing down these two in front of him and able to rock that bottom side without any problem. You see him just touching that paint and staying with the 35 there, looking to the inside, but doesn't quite have enough space. Yeah, he's 2-3 car lengths back right now. But just watch how he rocks that inside lane and gains car lengths up on that 35. I thought the 35 would go a little bit wider there, but he's trying a little something different.
Yeah, it looks like he's able to close, but just every time he gets close enough, McDonald just drives away a little bit as you see him close up within a half car length there.
Yeah, McDonald is doing everything he can to try to take the air away from that number 10 car. He knows that once you get within a car length or two, that wake is really bad, but the 10 is really just doing everything he can, keeping the pressure on, not changing his line here. And you see a little bit of a loose moment there out of the 35. That pressure might be working.
Yeah, it might be, but look at this line that Blake Howell has taken. He's within like half a car length of the wall there when he hits entry.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to work in that top side for a little bit later. But it's working for him as he sits in the 3rd place right now. He gets up next to the wall, right up against that top seam, and then cuts down to try to get his exit. He gets up on the gas. You see how he gaps the 35 by a couple of car lengths off the corners, but 35 is able to continue to put the fight to him throughout the middle part of the corner. And Well, that 10 is just putting the pressure on the back bumper of the 35. We got McDonald, we've got Missler, we've got Howell all up under a blanket here, racing for third place. So we've got 3 laps to go for Mark Gonzalez here, coming to the stage end. He's got about 3 seconds of a lead over Jonathan Cogswell, who sits about a second and a half in front of this battle. So you're not missing anything up front.
No. Let's go back here though and look at this battle that's been going on a little bit back and forth between Ryan Douglas and Jordan Dozadelli. These guys were battling pretty hard there for a little bit, but looks like Douglas is able to pull away almost a half second now. These guys back in the back are still battling hard and trying to make up a little bit of ground. As we get towards the end of this stage, we will jump back up front and look at Mark Gonzalez here.
Gonzalez has driven, well, I'd like to say a picture-perfect stage 1, but it has been far from that. He's had, he started up on the front row, had a little bit of contact with the 78, struggled to save it, getting up into the turf, definitely killed that rear grip, and sent him up into the fence. But after a couple of quick cautions and some tire strategy, he takes the white flag of stage number 1 with about a 3-second lead over Jonathan Cogswell. Blake Howell continues to run third. Dylan McDonald and Austin Missler. Dylan looked down to the inside there, getting almost down to the door. Trying to do everything he can to side drive, coming up off of 2. There's all 3 make wall contact coming up off of 2.
These guys are racing for points here.
There's the 35 diving down to the inside, trying to pull a slide job. He slides up the racetrack. Here comes Austin Missler down to the inside. Can he take advantage? Mark Gonzalez wins stage 1. Got it. Jonathan Cogswell second. Blake Howell in third with Dylan McDonald at his door for 4th for the stage win. And 5th place goes to Austin Missler. Ira Kohlhaas, Ricky Gonzalez, Bud Barnes, Mark Parkhurst, and Zach Woods round out your top 10 for a phenomenal stage 1. And wow, I cannot put enough awards on the drive Mark Gonzalez had getting through the field and gapping the field on that last run there, but also how Blake Howell, Dylan McDonald, and Austin Missler were able to race under a blanket, super clean. I tell you what, man, if stage 1 has anything to say, we are in for a phenomenal 140 laps to continue this show.
Yeah, these guys have done a remarkable job. Yeah, we've had a little bit of cautions and stuff, but even after that, these guys have been working their way back up through the field. I mean, Mark Gonzalez, any other time, you'd basically just put it on the trailer and say you're done, but you got that car fixed up and back out front he went, and he just drove away from this field.
Now, you're definitely here a lot more than I am. Is a fast repair is that something that's around usually, or is that new for the longer race?
I don't know. Most of the time these guys are I think they have one, but most of the time you don't really see them use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha. See, everybody comes down to the pit lane here after the end of the stage. A couple of guys going out, they're staying out to try to get their laps back. Hurley, Langley, Trader, and McIntyre all trying to get some laps back here. Or not McIntyre. Rather, it's just Hurley. McIntyre, Langley, and Trader are all out of the race.
Yeah, so he'll get a couple more positions coming back up.
Hurley still sits about 3 laps down after very big struggles at the beginning of the race. Looks like the 88 Mark Gonzalez gets out pit lane first. Chris Wheeler, a new name in second. Cogswell loses 1 spot. McDonald, Howell, Missler, all still under a blanket. Colehouse, yep. Parkhurst, Bud Barnes, and Zach Woods.
Yeah, so
top 10.
Chris Wheeler, he was only in his pit for 8 seconds. Definitely.
So I have questions.
Right sides.
We saw how the 32 struggled on older tires. He was obviously on the tires from the beginning of the race, but that was the longest run we have seen green flags. So those have got to be worn tires.
I don't know. Let's see if I want to see if you can dial up our stage winner.
Yeah. Let's Hey Mark, it's Mike and Liam up in the booth. I gotta tell you, you had yourself a heck of a show in that first stage. Kind of walk us through, well, first off, walk us through your start and then leading up to the contact with the 78.
At the beginning, I was just trying to keep it easy, but then I saw Greg was trying to be aggressive, so I was just trying to match his energy. And then I saw, well, it felt like he wasn't going up to the wall, so I was going up to the wall, hitting him, and I got loose and hit the wall myself and had to use a fast repair. But after that, it's been pretty much flying solo, just trying to keep the car intact and then get up position, try to get it up in clean air so that way I can save that right front.
Just kind of quickly, walk us through that, like, the grip loss when you get up into the turf. Obviously, it's a bit better than the grass, but you still lose a lot of grip there, right?
Grip loss in where?
In the turf. When you were...
Oh yeah, as soon as you hit that turf and your back wheels start spinning, it just when it turns you, it wants to turn you right. So I really couldn't do much to save it, and this car, it's really snappy. So I was just, when I hit the wall, I was just trying to stay on the wall and try to make sure I didn't collect anybody else looking in the mirror.
I mean, fantastic heads-up driving by you, and just kind of, we'll finish it off here. You raced through the pack and were able to get out front and get yourself a hefty lead. What you got in that thing? Rocket fuel?
I can't let the secret sauce out.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on winning stage number 1. Wish you the best of luck. Just want to double check which team you're in.
I'm with Titletown Racing.
Titletown Racing. Perfect. All right. We'll get you there. Best of luck in the stage.
Sorry, I was talking with broadcast.
And that was your stage winner, Mark Gonzalez. A little bit of an extended interview, but definitely appreciate him speaking with us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he said it all trying to save that right front, so we'll see how that works out as we have Blake Howell out on his outside now. Chris Wheeler elected that inside line right behind Gonzalez there, but he did only probably take right side tires, I would assume.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I will say it's really cool to be able to talk to a driver who won the stage about a crash he happened earlier on in the stage. That's a pretty cool deal, and thanks to iRacing for fast repairs and not letting one thing ruin somebody's race. But we're ready for the green flag of stage number 2. We've got 55 laps to go. Green flag is out. Mark Gonzalez hard on the gas. He's gonna get clear of the 26 Blake Howell. Howell gets clear of the 38 though. Side by side for third place is the 10. Austin Missler, we saw him quick in qualifying, trying to work the outside of that 38. Two tires doesn't seem to be working out as they start to look at 3 wide down the back straightaway, thinking better of it.
Yeah, the 38 has Cogswell all over his back bumper, Cogswell is trying to get through there as they're 3 wide now. Cogswell on the inside, Zach Woods clear on the outside. The 35 of Dylan McDonald jumps down to the inside, makes that pass. Ira Kohlhaas as well is looking to the inside. Almost 3 wide again.
The wall now. Still 3 wide, Greg Wood in the middle. There's Barnes on the bottom. I will say 2 tires works better than 0, but I think 4 tires is the call from here on out.
Yeah, they have 6 sets. Definitely want to use them as he's in the wall, it looks like.
If not, you couldn't have put a piece of paper between him and the wall. He's just trying to get out of everybody's way at this point. And now Angel Santiago looking down to the inside, gonna likely complete that pass.
Blake Howell was able to get in front of Mark Gonzalez while we were looking at that drama unfolding back there.
definitely be interesting to see how Gonzalez's car is, or Blake Howell rather, in clean air compared to chasing down Gonzalez and racing those other guys for third and second place and fourth. Looks like Gonzalez still trying that inside lane, getting right up next to that black or white and blue line, and you know, he's not changing what he's doing based on what worked before.
No, and neither is Blake Howell. Blake Howell's going clear up almost to that wall, diving down almost down to that blue line, and then rounding it back out again.
Yeah, he's almost pulling that old Juan Montoya Atlanta line where you get up in there kind of medium, you go up to the wall. He's obviously very wide on his entry, but once you find that perfect middle point, you turn it down, you jam it on the gas, you get it up in the rubber, and let your rear tires do the talking. And it seems to be working for that 26 right now, but Mark Gonzalez has not let him get away as we see a battle for third place taking place.
Yeah, between Mark Parkhurst and Austin Missler, they're battling back and forth as well. And then behind them, you
went
get...
into the wall. It was a 4 of Mark Parkhurst. It doesn't seem to have slowed him down much, but he might have a crinkle on that right rear. It looked like it just got a touch loose with the 10 behind him. It doesn't look like, oh, he got the apron there and wanted to turn 2.
Look at the
Now
drive.
Sorry, they were almost 3 wide getting down into the corner there.
Dylan McDonald darted between 2 or 3 cars there, just trying to pass pass Cogswell there, and it looked like he was looking to split Parkhurst and Missler there.
Yeah, McDonald, like you saw what I saw there, we both kind of froze up there. McDonald got through a couple of spots, and then he saw that and was almost thinking, hey, I'm Noah Gregson. That's Sheldon Creed and Kyle Larson right in front of me, but thought better of it getting down into turns 3 and 4, and is now racing side by side with Parkhurst. Parkhurst with a huge run there up off the corner, but not going to be quite enough to get clear of him. We'll see if get down into turn number 1. If the 35 can try to pull a slider or see if that inside lane works. He slides up the track just a little bit more than he wants. Parkhurst likes to see that as long as he's not hitting him.
Yeah.
Advantage to the inside, though, with the draft.
Yeah, he's got Cogswell back there pushing him a little bit, so definitely going to be a little bit faster. And it looks like Zach Woods is trying to reel him in as well.
Parkhurst with a bad 3 and 4 there. He's going to lose 2 spots now. Like you said, Zach Woods just trying to reel these guys in. He sees everything that's going on. He knows the calamity that took place as we got a battle for the lead. Mark Gonzalez go back to the inside of Blake Howell.
Yeah, these guys side by
Gonzalez.
side. I mean,
And they're tight to the doors.
Almost touching there.
Almost, man.
I don't know if you
Mark
fit a piece of
Gonzalez.
paper.
I don't know, man. Mark Gonzalez, we talked to him after he won the stage, talking about Greg Wood going aggressive there, and I would think that wasn't really his call to get that close, but he's not giving up an inch, and he's not changing what he's doing, and I love to see that. That is a cool head on his shoulders, as maybe now he's going in a little bit harder trying to complete that pass, but he's doing everything he can to keep it on that bottom, to run his line. He's got a touch of clean air now, running side by side for the lead instead of back behind. It's a tough pass to complete, especially with the line the 26 is running. He cuts back down the racetrack and gets a nice run up off the corner, so you can't quite clear him. He's going to get himself a nice run.
Yeah, Blake Howell just has a better run off the corner, but Gonzalez, through the entry and middle, has been lights out, and he just made that pass.
Yeah, Gonzalez slides up out of 4. He saw the run he was getting, but he said, hey, I'm clear, I'm taking it. And you saw the frustration with that, with the 26. Maybe not frustration, but maybe a point of understanding.
Yeah, definitely made it right to his back bumper and stayed there for an extended period of time.
Yeah, he knew what he did there and said, all right, we can play. But now the 26 is playing the same game the 88 was for the first part of this stage. Can he chase down Mark Gonzalez, and can Austin Missler potentially get up into this lead battle and chase Mark Gonzalez down as well?
These guys are definitely going at it. Everybody's kind of spread out a little bit now. When you look back through the field, can jump back to this group of 4 here of Santiago, Bud Barnes, Jordan Dozadeli's out the back there. We got George Jewell and Santos. Santos is into the wall.
Yeah, just a bit of a scrape there. It hurts a bit of momentum. It's going to give the 07 a chance to get to his inside, but maybe not quite enough to make the pass as the outside seems to prevail. Still there, coming up off of turn number 4 of the 9. Santos rocking that outside still, though. Is not deferred by that wall contact. Santiago trying to get up into there as well. He's worked his way into the top 15. He mentioned how he was struggling this weekend and thought a top 15 was kind of where to set his goal. He's sitting in there relatively comfortably right now as he makes the pass up on the 9 of Santos Santoyo. And now potentially looking at chasing down that 07. If he can get clear, getting down into 1. Now he does.
Yeah, Bud Barnes is right behind him as well. Bud Barnes was able to get some stage points at that first stage, and he's making that pass on that 9 now.
Yeah, working that 9, got a little bit looser up off of 2.
Now we got
a 9 with outside run, but the 9 scrapes the wall. That's going to kill his momentum coming up off the corner. It doesn't seem to have been enough to hurt anything, but it definitely keeps Barnes there and gives him the advantage getting up into the corner, and he's going to go right ahead and take it. The 9 tries to push it on the outside. Bud Barnes able to complete that pass, but here comes Zach Woods on the inside of Mark Parkhurst. Slides up the racetrack, almost contact, and the 29 is going to have a prime chance to try to capitalize coming up off of turn 4.
Yeah, Zach Woods had that run and just slid up a little bit, elected to check up and stay out of trouble, but that gives Ira Kohlhaas the run on the 60 there.
Yeah, Ira Kohlhaas is rocking that Pepsi scheme, red, white, and blue there on that race car, and trying as hard as he can to work that inside over the 60 of Zach Woods.
Yeah, and behind
definitely
them,
tough to complete a pass here, especially with how well we've seen both of these lines work, but Zach Woods has to let up off the corner just a touch, and keeps that battle going. I'm sorry, Mike.
Greg Wood Jr. is trying to improve his position after looks like he hit it and made some adjustments and wound up back in the field a little ways, but trying to at least get something back here as he's still running top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, looking to the inside of the 60, coming up off of 4. The 60 once again has to let off because the 29 slid up right in front of him. That might cost him another spot. Wood versus Woods right now in a contact into turn number 1. Woods slides up, almost gets into the back of the 60.
Wow.
Those guys hit coming into turn number 1. I tell you what, 78 Greg Wood Jr. kept his foot in it to try to keep it straight. Almost slid up into the back of the 60 of Zach Woods, and we almost had a little bit of wood-on-wood action there. As now, once again, the move to the inside from the 78, going down the front straightaway. I would imagine the 60 is probably not going to fight too hard getting down into turn number 1, given what just happened.
No, I think
78 does get clear of the 60. A very sketchy moment there, and I tell you what, those moments have been going on throughout the course of this race, and we've got ourselves a heck of a battle right now as Howell trying to hold off McDonald and Missler as Mark Gonzalez has gapped himself up to a 3-second lead once again.
Yeah, he said he wanted that clean air, and he's gone.
Definitely likes a clean air. 35, Dylan McDonald doing everything he can to try to work Blake Howell, and I think the guys behind him are kind of on the same boat as, well, maybe not. I was going to say maybe they'd want to help him by, but looks like Austin Missler is a little bit of a fair weather fan right now. He's just going with whatever lane is working, but McDonald able to get clear now.
Missler down to the inside, going to try and work the inside. Blake Howell jumps on the back of McDonald there, but he stays at his high line that he's been running all night. Looks like Missler's going to try and, well, I was going to say try and stay behind McDonald, but McDonald jumped up to the high side.
He's going to take advantage of that run is Jonathan Cogswell trying to take that top side and get around the 10. Coming up off of turn 4, though, everybody single files out once again. Mark Gonzalez sits out to about a 3.5-second lead over Dylan McDonald right now. Gonzalez has already started working with a bit of lap traffic, that first lap car there. You see James McCanny, I believe, in the 20 is just in front of these guys.
Yeah, you see,
Or rather, Chris Wheeler in the
Chris
38.
Wheeler. Chris Wheeler's the guy that only took right side, so he's just trying to hold on and kind of stop the bleeding a little bit, it looks like.
Rewind down the front straightaway with the lap car. Everybody gets through okay, but that was a moment.
Yeah, Mark Parkhurst able to go down to the inside and make that pass. But you have Cogswell, Missler, and looked like Blake Howe got into the wall there a little bit. Just scraped it coming off of 2 there.
Yeah, Howell's been trying to work in that outside lane, and I think he's kind of the only one, so it's not working as well as he wants. But we've seen him able to run just about anywhere and make passes, so as you see him rocking the inside lane here, it'll be interesting to see if maybe that different line, as now we've got a crossover there from Cogswell getting back down to the inside. See if that 26 can change his lineup and maybe figure something out. But for right now, it's not looking good as we approach the halfway point of this second stage. Actually just hit it. Mark Gonzalez with a 4-second lead.
Yeah, Blake Howell, he's been trying to get that high line to work, but it seems like when he drops down to that low line, he gets a way better run. So I don't know if he's just trying to make it work in for the second half of this race, or if he's just more comfortable running up there, but he's definitely faster towards the bottom of the track.
Well, I tell you what, I'm somebody, I love the wall. I love running right up next to it. If I feel like I can get closer to the wall than anybody else, I feel good. But if the lane, if the groove, if the rubber is down on the inside and that's where it's fast, I know running next to the wall is not going to do me any good because I'm just tearing up my tires. We've seen it be fast. And, we see a bit of a moment there with McDonald and Missler there up front of this pack. But we've seen the outside lane be fast. It's just, you've got to have a lot more guys run it to be able to rubber it in and make it stay fast.
Now we're getting 93 laps here. Dawson Missler and Dylan McDonald side by side, almost touching there. As Missler's thinking he about has had enough of battling here and tries to make that pass now.
Yeah, he's watching the gap grow in front of him, and he says, "I'm faster than you. If I was behind you, this would, or if I was behind him, this would be a smaller number."
Goes to the outside, up almost to the wall there, trying to see if that high line would work. Cogswell back behind him.
And it's looking like it's going to work here, coming up off of turn number 2. The 35 doesn't quite have enough to try to get up and clear him. So there's the outside for Austin Missler, working well over Dylan McDonald. Let's see how it comes up off of turn number 4, though. It's a lot tighter up off of 4 than it is up off of 2. Both guys try to use everything they can, and it's looking more promising for the outside lane right now. Missler through 1 and 2, I believe, should have this pass cleared. 35 misses the bottom a little bit, tries to come back down to the line, but well, both guys get off equal.
Yep, side by side still. Looks like Missler has a little bit of a run, and then McDonald just goes back again. Parkhurst is closing in on these two.
Yeah, and these guys are coming up on the lap car of Ricky Gonzalez. I believe you mentioned he's staying high, out of the way of the leaders. But no help to the 10 as he goes up to the top. Maybe trying to take a little bit of draft. He cuts back down to the bottom. 35, Dylan's got to let up just a little bit. McDonald falls back in behind. And now he's back under fire for Mark Parkhurst.
Yeah, Ricky Gonzalez, one of the faster cars we had earlier in the race, and he's just falling back here. As Dylan McDonald gets almost to his back bumper, and Ricky Gonzalez
Blake
tries to
Howell.
pull out of the way.
Blake Howell has come into the pits. The pit window is open. We've been so caught up in the exciting battling we've got going on. Didn't even realize that these guys are getting ready to split the stage. Blake Howell, Zach Woods, and George Jewell are all in the pits in terms of lead lap cars. Everybody else still on the racetrack. Mark Gonzalez with about a 5.5-second lead over Austin Missler and the rest of this battle. These guys are going to have to try something big to undercut him or something if they want a chance at this stage. So far this time, none of the leaders do, or the second lead pack, I should say. You see the 26 Blake Howell coming up off of the pits, hoping to get a little bit of a draft so he can try to gain on these fresh tires on the 88.
Yeah, definitely had to try something different there. But as
27 coming in this time. Going to be a big pit lap this time. Green flag pit stops are going to be key, especially if you're trying to maximize points throughout the middle part of the season. A penalty would be destroying your chances at points here.
Yep, we got Missler, Parkhurst, Cogswell all headed to the pits. Greg Wood Jr. as well. Dylan McDonald is still out on track. Ira Kohlholz. And then you have a big gap back to Gibney Jr. here. And then 5 seconds or so back to Bud Barnes. So
Mark Gonzalez sitting out in clean air. He's almost 2 seconds off of his fastest time, although that was more than likely a draft lap. It's definitely going to be a question answered when we see how this undercut works for these guys. As it sounds like he's off the gas. I think the 88. No, he's not. No, he's just cruising. I thought he was coming in this time.
No, he is just set sail.
Got almost 8 seconds of a lead over Dylan McDonald. Blake Howell is the first guy on fresh tires.
Look, if you look at the lap times, he's still 0.3 faster than Dylan McDonald and Ira Kohlholz there. So he has definitely found something that is working here, but it looks like he might be. Nope, still
Not
not.
this time. I'm gonna wait until I hear it on the radio. Try to listen in on that, but
Dylan McDonald,
the battle.
Dylan McDonald and Ira Kohlholz is battling here with the looks like a lap car between them with a 62 of Bill Sleep.
Bill Sleep, another guy we haven't talked about really. We mentioned his qualifying run. He was the first guy to put down a lap time in qualifying. Now Bill Sleep is out here sitting in 18th. He's on fresher tires, just trying to kind of cruise his way through, but having himself a pretty good race.
Yeah, well,
Ira Kohlholz into the pits, followed by Kevin Gibney Jr. also.
yeah, so we've got 5 cars that haven't pitted yet. Gonzalez,
cars, I'm
McDonald,
counting.
Barnes, Santiago, and Santoyo.
Yeah, some of these guys are hoping on a caution, and I would probably say 4 out of 5. I really don't think Mark Gonzalez cares right now. His car has been great throughout the course of this race. He knows he can drive through the field, and I think if he loses a couple spots on an undercut here, I don't think he's going to be too upset with it. Austin Missler has gotten in front of Blake Howell and running himself some pretty good laps.
And Mark Parkhurst looks like he's the first car that had pitted here.
88 coming in this time, I believe.
They got Parkhurst and Missler sitting there battling back and forth. Gonna try and see if they're gonna be able to close this ground on Mark Gonzalez. Mark Gonzalez is in the pits this time.
Yeah, we'll
Dylan
see how this
McDonald
undercut works.
is hitting the pits. He's
Following suit. Angel Santiago could assume the race lead here if he decides to stay out. Haven't heard anything from the 90 radio saying they're pitting, but it looks like the backfiring says they are, and along with the 9 of Santos Santoyo, Mark Parkhurst.
So we'll
could
see if
inherit
Mark
the race
Parkhurst
lead.
is, if Mark Parkhurst is able to get out in front, as it looks like Mark Gonzalez is not quite out of the pits yet.
Mark Parkhurst, one of the first to hit the pit lane at lap 98. Now holds on to the race lead over Austin Missler, Jonathan Cogswell, Blake Howell, Dylan McDonald. And Mark Gonzalez.
Mark Gonzalez has a penalty, it looks like. He is still in the pits. He just finally got out.
That is a tough break. You go from leading the race, winning the first stage after a huge comeback, to getting penalized on the pits. Now you're a lap down. Mark Parkhurst holds on to the race lead with just under 15 laps to go here in the second stage.
Well, while we do that, why don't we go ahead and take a break as we're halfway and let these guys file through here, and we'll be back in a moment. Once again, if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe, turn on bell notifications, Facebook, like, share, follow, and we will be back in a minute.
Time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field works its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Oh, the rocket! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the West Coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series.
All right, and we are back in the Monsters of Speed Racing League NewGen Cup Series. Mark Parkhurst up 14 positions, leading this race with Austin Missler right behind him, and we are about 7 laps to the end of the stage 2.
Yeah, coming to 7 to go this time by, and we've seen Missler be quick. You know, he started 3rd place in this race. Obviously, he's got a fast hot rod under the hood of that Chevy Camaro, but chasing down that Ford Mustang of Mark Parkhurst has proven to be a little bit of a challenge here throughout the course of this second stint of stage 2. Hasn't really left the 2 to 3 car length zone. Has been within probably half a car length, but coming down to the stage win. 7 laps to go, coming to 6 to go. Lapped car, Zach Woods might be a factor here, but he's going to be doing everything he can to try to stay on the lead lap. Differing lines going down into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, he definitely wants to stay on that lead lap, but before we went to break there, we watched Mark Gonzalez hit pit road. Looked like he got hit with a speeding penalty, so he had to spend a little extra time on pit road, wound up a lap down. So he definitely wants to try and race his way back. He's got 4 cars he needs to try and pass to get back to the lucky dog position.
Yeah, otherwise he would have to hope for a wave around. And, well, I guess with 80 laps compared to 60 laps in these first 2 stages to the last one, might be a little bit different. I think, 35 is probably the range these guys can go, maybe a little bit more, but I think 80 laps is a very long way to go trying to make it a one-stopper.
Yeah,
Some of
definitely.
these guys might try to maybe stay out and pit early, hoping that this thing goes green, play some different strategies.
Yeah, I think if you're Mark Gonzalez, that might be the only way you're going to be able to get there. As Zach Woods just went a lap down. Mark Parkhurst looking to the inside of Ricky Gonzalez, going to make that pass. Austin Missler stays down low. Going to try and pass Gonzalez as well there.
Yeah, Gonzalez going a second lap down. He started second in this race, and tough break for him. He hasn't had the day he's wanted after having a really strong practice and qualifying run. Race trim and I guess events that have taken place have not gone his way, and so that stinks for him. But 10 cars still on the lead lap right now, led by Mark Parkhurst and Dylan McDonald, sitting 3/4 of a straightaway in front of them, doing everything he can to try to stay on the lead lap. Just coming up off the 4 right now.
Yeah, let's go ahead, and while we have a minute here, let's do a rundown of the top 10 we do have. Mark Parkhurst, the number 4 Ford from Enfield, New Hampshire. Austin Missler driving that number 10 Chevy. Jonathan Cogswell from Plainfield. And we go back almost 5 seconds here to Ira Kohlhaas from Woodlawn, Tennessee.
Mike, I hate to interrupt you, but I believe we're taking the white in the stage here.
Yes, we are. Jump up here.
So while this will more than likely be our finishing order for stage 2, we're just going to go ahead and watch Mark Parkhurst try to defend a last-ditch effort from the 10 of Austin Missler, who just hasn't been able to get quite close enough to make that move happen.
Yeah, just
Got
not
one last
quite.
chance at it.
He gets pretty close, but Mark Parkhurst just has a little bit better run. So as we
Yeah,
come
Mark
to the
Parkhurst.
end of the stage here,
Yep, that's lap 120 into 121. The caution is out.
Parkhurst, yep, Parkhurst, Missler, Cogswell, Kohlhaas, Gregwood Jr. is just now making his way.
Yeah, we can probably finish our through the field here before the pit stops happen. We've got George Jewell, who's overcome a lot. We've seen him. He's up 6 spots from his starting point, but that doesn't say a whole heck of a lot about his day. We've seen him racing back in the 18th spot, around there. Now he's sitting in 6th place. Kevin Gibney Jr. has also had a big up and down day. We mentioned our Daytona winner rocking a Patriots game, which, as Tom Brady hater, I'll say that's a cop out, but it's definitely nice to see the red, white, blue on the more race cars.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't hate the Patriots, not that Tom's not there, but Blake Howell, we saw him running well up front, trying to work in that outside lane. Finishes 8th. Dylan McDonald, after staying out for a while, probably one of the longest guys to stay out, finishes 9th, and then Ryan Douglas, who's got some right front damage. He's coming into the pits here. He's got a right front toe link broken. He's got to take 10th place in the stage, but obviously coming into the pits earlier than he wants to deal with some right front issues.
Well, definitely. So we'll definitely see who's all going to hit pit lane here as we see Parkhurst, Missler, Cogswell, Kohlhaas, Gregwood Jr. Looks like almost everybody on the lead lap here. But we will see if
We're hearing some reports of maybe some contact between the 98 and potentially that,
the 24.
yeah, the 24 that we saw with damage there. And a couple of guys were potentially given black flags due to being unable to let the cars around. So gonna have some potential EOLs here for Dylan McDonald, Jordan Delzadelli, Blake Howell, and Ryan Douglas. So it'll be interesting to double check and see where those guys stack up. But if those lead lap cars such as Douglas and Howell have to start at the back, definitely be an interesting final stage for him.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what happens here. How this all shakes up here, because we've got, looks like everybody's pretty much gonna hit the pits, it looks like. Like Ryan Douglas. Hit the pits early. Everybody else is in. Looks like Hurley, Langley, Dylan Trader, and John McIntyre right now. Oh, no. Looks like those guys are all... Like those guys all parked it, so... On Chris Wheeler in 11th right at the moment.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. Trying to look at
I mean, he is a lap down, so maybe he's gonna stay out and try and get that wave around.
as far as I see, Chris Wheeler should be the wave around here, staying out, putting 11 on the lead lap. Zachary Woods will be the first one lap down. Yep. So Chris Wheeler's going to get his lap back. The choose cone has happened.
Lots have hit the channel. We will have Mark Parkhurst and Austin Missler on our front row. Jonathan Cogswell looks like he chose the inside.
Yep.
Which he was working
Dylan
with.
McDonald.
Cogswell was working with Missler on that outside for quite a while there.
Dylan McDonald to his outside. Then we've got Kevin Gibney Jr., Blake Howell, Ira Kohlhaas. Looks like Gonzalez is up in the middle of this thing due to the potential black flags, as Angel Santiago trying to get caught up to the field, make sure he's up in here, and a bit of a moment they're getting up to the end. So extended the we're not going green this time. We've extended the caution. Gonna try to get the guys in the right spot and go from there.
Yeah, David Mayo checking in on the YouTube chat said all his teammates are laps down, that they really could use some luck.
Yeah, David, you mentioned you wish you were here. We wish you were here as well, or yeah. He said, man, she'll be there with them, and So yeah, kind of wish you were. It's been a heck of a show, a lot of great racing, and I'm sure you'd have fun if you're out on the racetrack, as anybody else would.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're looking at 80 laps to go here. Well, less than 80 after they get everything situated. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's been an entertaining race. I mean, yeah, we had a little streak of cautions there at the beginning, but these guys have put on one heck of a show, battling all around. But it is going to be an interesting finish to this race, as we have Mark Gonzalez, Greg Wood Jr., Ricky Gonzalez. They're all multiple laps down, or a lap down at least. And those were our faster cars we've had. So we'll see if they're able to figure out a strategy to get back towards the front. We got Parkhurst up 14 positions, has the button as they make their way to the restart zone here. And he waits almost to the last second to go and gets a good jump after slowly rolling through that restart zone. Jonathan Cogswell is to the inside of Austin Missler. And Dylan McDonald is right to his rear quarter panel there.
Yeah, side by side for third place right now is Gonzalez giving a little bit of a draft to the top side of McDonald. Cogswell doing everything he can to hold that bottom line. Looks like the outside's going to prevail for right now as Blake Howell gets up near the wall there, coming up off of turn number 4.
Kevin Gibney Jr. down to his inside. And we've got lead lap cars mixed with lap cars, so it's definitely going to be a little crazy racing here for a little while.
Yeah, we know a lot of these lap cars are hoping for a caution, but they're hoping they can get in front of some of these other guys before that caution happens. I believe the race for the free pass right now is side by side in contact off of 4 for it. The 88 and 60 doing everything they can. There's Mark Gonzalez trying to keep that side drive. Now he's got to come back in behind the 860 of Zach Woods. These guys are racing for the free pass spot. If a caution comes out, get back on a lead lap. You know that 88 wants it. You know he was fast in that first stage. He's going to go ahead and try to fight for it here as the 31 goes down, gives him a little better draft. He's got the inside lane going into turn 1. We know that's what the 88 Mark Gonzalez has liked so far, but Zach Woods not giving up on the outside. Zach Woods
right into the wall. They stay green.
Also is the 29 behind him.
Yeah, Ira Kohlhaas there. Hard into the wall. But we stay green.
Yeah, Kohlhaas doesn't seem to have broken a toe link or anything like that. We obviously know that's kind of the main concern with these next-gen cars with the wall of contact. We're hoping they strengthen them up in the future. But, yeah, we've got ourselves a heck of a battle right now in this lead pack right now. Nose to tail, everybody under a blanket. This is 8 cars just waiting for a chance to get around another one. And there's Blake Howell, or not Blake Howell, Dylan McDonald, rather, trying to look to the outside of Mark Parkhurst. Does that little bit of a crossover. He looks down to the inside, down the back straightaway. Gets a little bit of a side draft. He's going to get to his door, getting down into the corner, almost to his nose, and now tries to dive it in there and slide him up the track. Up the track goes the 4, Mark Parkhurst. And the 35, Dylan McDonald, takes the race lead.
Yeah, Greg Wood Jr. looks like he jumped to the pits to get fixed there, and these guys are racing like crazy. We got the 27 and the 26, Blake Howell and Jonathan Cogswell racing, but you also have the 8 of Ricky Gonzalez in between them, lap down, but still trying to at least maintain a little bit of track position.
Yeah, he wants to stay up here in case there's a caution. He knows most everybody's going to pit, and in that case, he gets himself a wave around, and then he's back in the fight for the lead lap. He knows he's got a quick car. He cannot give up track position right now. Obviously, these leaders do not want to see a lapped car up here racing with them. If I was a lead lap car, if I was racing for this lead pack, I would be absolutely livid with the 8 car. I won't lie. But he's got to do that so he can try to keep himself in the wave around position. And hey, if he can get a lap back the hard way,
I'll say he's going to need a couple laps back the hard way.
What's he, 2 down?
Oh, looks like it. But just behind Blake, just behind Blake Howell is the 88 of Mark Gonzalez, and Mark Gonzalez is in that wave around position, and he's been one of the fastest cars we've had all night. So.
Yeah, Mark could honestly get himself his lap back the hard way, and be on the lead lap. And I don't know that he would contend for a race win without a caution, but we know the 8 and the 88 have both been quick. The 8, 2 laps down. If he gets his lap back the hard way, we talk about getting it back the hard way, passing the leader, and not taking a free pass or a wave around. That puts him in a good spot if a caution does come out. Probably got
Blake Howell has got to be, like you said, getting livid with that 8, because he gets the run on that 4 car there and just can't close it because the 8 is right in the way.
I tell you what, though, he has got to be keen on pushing that 8 car out in front of the inside car, getting that outside lane, the draft, and you see it gets him clear now. Now maybe he makes a move down to the inside to try to get around that 8, and this is where you can figure out if he really is faster. But he gets down to the apron there, gets a little bit loose. Kind of ties it up a little bit behind him, and now Mark Gonzalez, back to the outside. Looked to the outside, didn't quite have enough. We'll see Ricky and Mark working together more than likely here to get their laps back, but I tell you what, 2 of the fastest cars on the racetrack in a position where they need to fight hard against guys they are not fighting for position. This is racing, man. Everybody's got their own race going on, but it's definitely something cool to see as both Gonzalez's are clear of second place. We got Ricky trying to get back to 1 lap down so he can race for a free pass if another caution comes out. And Mark Gonzalez trying to get back to the lead lap. So if a caution comes out, he's right back in with these boys.
Yeah, he definitely wants to try and do that. And he seems to be driving through this field relatively easy at the moment. But
he slides up wide, almost gets the wall there, but go ahead, Mike.
But he just seems to be following Ricky right around the track. But he is maintaining that lucky dog position. So if there is a caution, he will get that lap back. But
absolutely. But if he passes the leader fair and square on the racetrack, he does not have to start at the tail end of the longest line. We saw Mark, I believe that was Mark, get the wall coming up off the floor. They're almost identical paint schemes. But
yeah, pretty close to it.
Mark getting up into the wall, coming up off of turn 2 last time. I apologize for getting corners confused, but we've got ourselves a heck of a battle right now between Mark Parkhurst and Austin Missler.
Yeah, these 3 guys, Missler, Cogswell, and Parkhurst, are battling it out here for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Missler gets a little bit of a run on Parkhurst, but doesn't seem to be able to close it up as he's right to his back bumper now.
Blake Howell is sitting right behind these Gonzalez boys, trying to size it up to figure out if he can pass them or if following behind them is the best way to the leader. Dylan McDonald at the clean air is probably doing the best for his tires right now, but we've seen how that undercut can be effective. I firmly believe we've got 2 pit stops coming up in this final stage. I might be wrong.
I'm leaning to 1.
Yeah? I suppose that caution did run a little long.
But still.
I would say 35 to 40. I think 40 makes it, but,
Yeah,
I guess we'll see when the pit stops start to come. If it's a 2-stop strategy, they'll probably happen within the next 5 to 10 laps, but one stop
it'd have to pretty soon if that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, one stop would have to be probably around 160 or so, which is just under 20 laps away. The Gonzalez boys getting all over each other here. 88 looking to the outside of the 8. Mark looks up top,
into the wall.
He put him in the wall. They're 3 wide behind. Greg Wood tries to take advantage.
Greg Wood Jr.
Past Mark Parkhurst. and is now trying to take advantage of the 26. He gets past him as well. He's into second place. Greg Wood looking down to the inside of the 88. Now he's going to push the 88 past the 8.
Greg Wood Jr. is all over these guys, he is trying to make up some time here as Angel Santiago's in the pits.
Greg Wood has decided, I am done with these lapped cars, and I tell you what, the beneficiary of that is Dylan McDonald right now, as the 88 of Mark Gonzalez is able to get out in front of the 8, and now Greg Wood goes down to the inside to try to take second place on track away so he can actually fight for the race lead, and he's got himself a good run coming up off of turn number 2. Oh, he touches the wall!
So as we were talking about pit strategy there.
Oh, he gets down to the inside. Look at this.
He is trying to make those laps. Oh my.
Yeah, I apologize. The 78 Zach Woods is not racing for position, but now he gets back into the back of the leader once again.
No, he looked like he jumped to pits a couple laps ago, but ever since then he is on fire. He must have figured out what adjustment to make, and he is on the move, but he will need some luck on
that
track.
Was a race for position, but now the 88 of Mark Gonzalez is on the outside trying to get his lap back, like we mentioned the hard way. Dylan McDonald is on the radio, not pleased with the 78. Obviously, it's kind of expected in that situation when it's not for a position. Now the 26, looking at the top side of the 78. So it's a tough deal, and I apologize because I've been confused too, but the race for the lead is between the 25, or the 26 and the 35. Dylan McDonald is defending from the 26 of Blake Howell, and Mark Parkhurst is right up on this as well. The 8 of Ricky Gonzalez is not involved with this lead battle. He jumps to the outside and is potentially getting out of the way. Austin Missler is involved in this lead battle, and now Cogswell trying to work his way around the 8, but now once again all top 5 are within the same lap of each other, and Mark Parkhurst, he takes the lead through 3 and 4 there.
Now these guys, you can almost throw a blanket between the top 5 there for a minute. These guys are racing like it's almost the last lap, as Parkhurst is able to get a little bit of a lead there on Blake Howell. Blake Howell finally was able to pass McDonald there. Missler was able to pass McDonald as well. Cogswell looking to the inside of Dylan McDonald and will make that passes and follow them all through. Dylan McDonald cannot be happy with the way that all unfolded there.
Oh, not at all. It's tough to be racing around lap cars, and like I said, if I was a lead lap car in that situation, I would be absolutely livid. Which is why I'm lucky I'm sitting up here with you, Mike, looking at all this, because I know these guys are racing for their own thing, you know. Now the 88 is back on the lead lap, and he's been the fastest car all night. You want to put him back a lap down, so if you get a caution, he's got to restart at the back of the field, get through more. But, you know, Ricky Gonzalez up there in the 8, he's trying to get himself back onto 1 lap down so he can race for a free pass. It's a completely different race, but he's doing everything he can. But I tell you what, when you're a lead lap guy, you're racing for these, you know, top 5 spots. You're actually racing for the lead up here. You are, I mean, there's no way other to put it than live it with everybody around you.
Yeah, the guy who is happy that Mark Gonzalez was able to make it around is back here of Zach Woods. Right now, currently sits in the lucky dog position.
Yeah, hoping for a bit of a quick caution here, potentially before pit stops, but
if we make it to lap 160, they should be good to make it to the end of the race.
I agree with you, and I think if anybody was trying to make it a two-stopper, they would have done it by now. So this is more than likely looking at a one-stopper, unless we get a caution like now. But Mark Parkhurst all over the back bumper of that 88. And while the 88 is on the tail end of the lead lap, not racing for position here, we haven't really seen anybody be able to stay on the back bumper of Mark Gonzalez. And
No, usually he just drives away, but he is not. As Austin Missler gets a little loose coming off of 2 there and jumps down to the inside, Cogswell takes advantage and makes that pass. Well, it looks like you saw Blake Howell get into the wall a little bit there.
yeah, just a touch there. He's in a bit of dirty air. It's tough when you got 2 cars like that right in front of you. But not letting those leaders, or rather the leader, get away.
No, he is not, but Mark Parkhurst knows the 88's been the fastest on track, and he is staying right with him. So if the 88 makes any sort of little mistake, I think that 4 car is going to pounce. But also, if you're if you're Mark Gonzalez there in that 88, you got to be hoping for something to happen here shortly, because 4 laps and people are probably going to start pitting.
As soon as that window opens, I would imagine people are going to be looking at the undercut. We are seeing the 88 starting to gap now just a bit. 3-4 car lengths, 5 now down the front straightaway as these guys get later in the run. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be tough to make anything happen for a race win at this point if you're in the 88's position right now.
Yeah, you're definitely hoping for one of those yellow things, but the one driver has pitted already, and that's Angel
and then the
Santiago.
wall was at 26. Blake Howell gets the wall up off of turn number 4, and now he's going to lose 2 spots to Cogswell and Missler.
He keeps running that high line, he just gets a little bit loose and touches that wall. When it's working for him, he's really fast, but just gets a little bit loose and touches that wall just a little bit, as you see Santiago back there do the same thing.
Santiago doing himself a...
But it looks like he was...
I mean, he's... Sorry.
I was gonna say, it looks like he was doing your strategy that you were saying, because he pitted on lap 142.
Trying a little 2-stopper action there. Given 65% fuel, I think the 2-stopper could have been worth it, but I just don't know if tire fall off is enough here to really make the difference.
I'm not sure either, as Chris Wheeler is now sitting in the lucky dog position.
Got ourselves a race for the lead right here. Jonathan Cogswell all over the back bumper of the 4 Mark Parkhurst as the 88 has driven away from this pack. Now the dirty air seems to be affecting the 4 a lot more, and I gotta wonder if sitting right behind that 88 potentially hurt his tires as we get closer to the window opening. Lap 160. I haven't heard anyone on the radio saying they're coming in, as we got a battle for the lead right now. 27 looks to the inside. Nothing doing that time. He's gonna lose the run, and Parkhurst back out front by about 2 car lengths.
Yeah, it looks like Parkhurst got a little quicker once he once that 88 got a little bit further ahead. I think when he was back there 5 or so car lengths between them, it affected him a little bit more than it was when he was right behind him.
Santos Santoyo is the first one of the lead lappers to come into the pits. At the tail end of the lead lap.
Jonathan Cogswell looks to the inside. Just doesn't quite get the run off again.
But he was almost there down the front straightaway, and cuts him off is the 4. Mark Parkhurst coming down the second leg of the dog leg. Parkhurst does not want to give up this race lead before the pit stop. 10 car coming in this time. P4 comes into the pits. We'll see if anybody is taking the bait with them.
Gibney Jr. is in the pits right now.
Santiago, meanwhile, is catching up to this lead pack and making massive time here. Gonna try to work this two-stop strategy to gain a couple extra spots. Like we said at the beginning of the show, he didn't feel good about anything in this weekend and was hoping for a top 15, and now he's out here trying an alternate strategy to get that done.
Yeah, he's sitting right now in P14.
Ira Kohlhaas into the pits this time. Also into the pits,
Blake
Blake
Howell.
Howell. So obviously on lap 164, 165, we are in a one-stop zone. This is not a two-stop situation. Angel Santiago doing everything he can, using all the racetrack he can to try to get back onto a better situation here, being on a lead lap. And the top three, or top two rather.
He is working his way up through here.
Mark Parkhurst and Jonathan Cogswell, the only ones on the track right now.
And Dylan McDonald
racing for the lead.
Mark Gonzalez is currently sitting in P4.
88 coming in this time though. 4 is spinning as well. Expect the 27 to follow. 4 goes wide on his entry to pit lane. 27 does not follow. 27 stays out. Angel Santiago trying to make a move to get back onto the lead lap. He's got the pressure tires. He wants that clean air so he can try to get that ever so precious track time, track position. Jonathan Cogswell sits in the lead right now. He's probably hoping on a caution pretty bad. As he's gone 44 laps on his tank of fuel, which has blown my ideas out of the window. So
yeah, we definitely saw earlier the guys were making 41, 42 in pitting, so he should be getting pretty close to pitting this time by, but Angel's still...
I would have to assume
like
with the effective race for the lead, Austin Missler leads Blake Howell. Mark Parkhurst just coming up off of the pits here. Mark Gonzalez also, he's going to lose a lap to even Austin Mittler.
Cogswell comes in this time by.
A very easy entry there for Cogswell. That's going to put the 10 of Missler back on the lead lap. Like I said, he sits in the effective race lead, the first car after making a pit stop. Cogswell is still in the pits. He's got to hope for a miracle to get him out in front, but out of turn number 4 comes Austin Missler with about a second and a half over the 26 Blake Howell, and he has made the pass. Jonathan Cogswell out of his pit stall, but not out of pit lane quite yet, just now getting out of pit lane, so clearly no fight. Austin Missler takes the race lead, and we've got ourselves a battle for, well, not quite a battle, but Blake Howell rather dealing with Bud Barnes as he is trying to work his way through the field, trying to get a couple laps back and hope for a couple miracles. We've got a caution out. Car stopped coming out of turn number 4. Not quite sure who that was. Greg Wood.
Take a look here.
Oh, he's all by himself. He's slow coming into the pits, and got up on that apron and.
Well, you know who loves that?
Mark Gonzalez, or is it Angel Santiago potentially?
Angel Santiago. He was on the lead lap. Santiago's on the lead lap, but he was getting run down like crazy by Austin Missler. Mark Gonzalez is going to be on the lead lap now. as he was the first car a lap down, so he'll get that lucky dog. That'll put 11 on the lead lap.
Now the big question here, Mike. Who pits? You're sitting in... Well, let's look at it.
Well, Santiago's pitting.
But if
he
you're one
has
of the
to.
leaders, you're sitting 7 laps. Mark Parkhurst in the best spot, 5 laps of green flag running on new tires.
I don't...
We've
honestly,
had a lot of green flag running in the second stage and third stage. We probably have more sets in the pits. If you know you're going to restart in front of those lappers, what is the risk here?
Well, you only have what? Say, well, what, 69, 62, so 7 laps, 7.5.
Yeah,
I would almost... it's one of those things you haven't really done a lot of racing, but we've seen how fresh tires are, though, too, so... Oh, and Santiago is still in his pits.
Yeah, getting some of that damage taken care of. We'll see if he maybe jumps out right before the pace car comes across, but the leaders choose to not pit. Greg Wood has pitted, Bill Sleep.
Santiago is out. He should be out in front of the pace car, so he should be good.
And should still be on the lead lap.
Oh, 170 laps in the books.
Yeah, we've had ourselves, I mean, a heck of a show. We've had a lot of really close, really good racing. We've had some wrecks at the beginning, and we've had some strategy playing out. Now we've got ourselves pretty much a shootout to the end of this thing. We've got 29 to go at the, I believe this should be the choose this time. So 28 to go at the restart, and we've still got 11 guys on the lead lap, and the fastest car is the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah. Oh, run down this real quick. It looks like when they set up here, reset this field and get going. So I assume Mitzler's going to take the inside and Al will take the outside that he's been running. Oh, no, he does not.
No, he does not. Ira Kohlhaas to the top side of row number 1. 35, Dylan McDonald. We saw him leading for plenty of time before, and definitely wants to continue that. Jumps up to the outside as well. Mark Parkhurst in 5th. We saw him as the effective race leader for quite some time in that final stint. But now Austin Missler, his gap that he had is erased. He's got Ira Kohlhaas, Blake Howell, Dylan McDonald, Mark Parkhurst, and plenty more hungry drivers right
Looks
behind
like
him here on this.
Looks like most of the lap cars are, or the guys in the back here are on that outside lane. Some mixed in between there, though. We got first guy with fresher tires is Jonathan Cogswell there. Last pitted on lap 167. We'll definitely see where he goes. Austin Missler has the button waits through that restart zone almost to the end, and he is off. The 35 of Dylan McDonald is all over the back bumper of Ira Kohlhaas here. The 4 of Mark Parkhurst down to the inside and is making the pass, trying to get up into 3rd position with Kohlhaas a little slow off the start. McDonald's trying to make it 3 wide.
Kohlhaas might have touched the wall there coming up off of 2. That gives plenty of guys a chance. Race for the lead. Austin Missler cuts down in front of Blake Howell. Howell can't be happy about that, but
yeah, back behind them, Dylan McDonald is able to make it through that 3 wide action. And it looks like back here towards the back, we got Santiago, Wheeler, and Zach Wood all battling it out almost 3 wide there in the back. Kevin Gibney Jr. is to the inside of Ira Kohlhaas. Bud Barnes down on the inside as well. Almost 3 wide here. We got Zach Wood and the 38 of Chris Wheeler.
a fantastic battle here coming up off of 2, and these guys almost making contact. You see the Gonzalez boys both looking down to the inside, and there's the 38 stuck in the middle once again. The 9 doing everything he can. Santos trying to stay off of these guys, and now he's under attack from Santiago. And contact made on the front straightaway around Gonzalez.
Gonzalez got spun
Hard
there.
into the wall goes Santiago.
Go take a look, see here at what just happened. So you can see Santiago and Santos there. Santiago tries to stay off of him. The 8 of Gonzalez is down on the inside. Looks like Santos squeezes down a little bit on Santiago. And they all just get collected there.
It was just kind of those tough deals where everybody on the racetrack comes together in the same spot, and I mean, 3 cars got
there's nothing you can do about
because
that.
of it.
I mean,
definitely a tough spot there.
so we will reset them again. Oh, and it looks like we do have some takers here. Dylan McDonald, Blake Howell, Kevin Gibney Jr., Mark Gonzalez, all head to pits.
Yeah, it looks like the top 3 stay out. The top 4, Ira Kohlhaas staying out as well. That should make things interesting.
Well, I don't know if interesting is the right statement there, but definitely need to do something, because they were racing around what seemed to be lap cars there as well. Which kind of caused a little bit of a stack up there, but Austin Missler still up front. Mark Parkhurst, Jonathan Cogswell, Ira Kohlhaas, George Jewell, Dylan McDonald, and Blake Howell. Dylan McDonald, Blake Howell, and Mark Gonzalez all hit pit lane, and all will have the fresher tire. So it'll be interesting to see, of the top 5, what direction they go. If they spread out between the top and bottom lane, it'll probably slow down the guys back there that did take tires. Looks like Santiago still ain't getting all fixed up there. George Jewell hits now. Oh. We'll see. How this all works out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see with Dylan McDonald coming out on fresh tires, just over 20 laps to go. Well, we've seen ourselves about 180 laps of damn good racing, and I firmly believe this last 20 laps is going to top it.
Yeah, these guys are definitely laying it all out on the track here. So as they are starting to come out, we will see how this stacks up. But definitely want to talk about.
They're choosing this time up off the 4, sorry.
Yeah, we'll definitely want to talk about Ira Kohlhaas here because we didn't get a chance to mention that his brother rides with him all the time. Sergeant Adam Kohlhaas, he was killed in action 21 April of 08 in Iraq. So, and we've got 35 of Dylan McDonald with his cousin Sergeant Todd Tuttle, just retired after 10 years of service. So definitely thank those guys for their service. So we have Austin Missler, Jonathan Cogswell takes that high side. Mark Parker stays low. Dylan McDonald goes high. Kohlhaas low. Blake Howell high, and then Mark Gonzalez on the low side. Kevin Gibney Jr., George Jewell up high, but we have a couple lappers mixed in amongst them as well.
As we get down to about 20 to go, that last caution could not have benefited anyone more than the 88 Mark Gonzalez. We've seen him be one of the fastest cars throughout this course of the race. He started on the pole, and well, now he's sitting on the 4th car on the inside row with a chance to go and pass 6 guys and wins a race. And like we said, we've seen him drive through the field before, so it'll be interesting to see if that can happen again. We know these guys are going to be racing harder than they have all night, and well, we got 20 to go on this restart.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely going to be a shootout towards the end. Austin Missler still with that button, and we've seen him kind of drag out the start the last couple times. Looks like he does again. Kind of stacks him up a little bit behind him. Jonathan Cogswell doesn't get a good run.
Looked like Bud Barnes hit the wall towards the back, but everybody stays good. Bud Barnes still sits in the, he sits towards the lead pack here, but Missler holding a pretty wheel right now, trying to block the 27's run. Cogswell trying to block both of these guys behind him, McDonald and Parkhurst, and Parkhurst goes up and clears McDonald there. Close moment there coming up out of turn number 4, and we've got the 29 and the 26 racing side by side. That's Howell and Kohlhaas.
Yeah,
And there's almost a little bit of contact.
They are racing all out here. And if you're the 88 of Mark Gonzalez, you do not want to see that right in front of you. As he dives down to the inside, gets behind Kohlhaas here. Gonna try and clear Howell. Doesn't quite do it, gets right to his back bumper, jumps to the outside. As Kohlhaas and McDonald are side by side.
Yeah, strong run for McDonald up on the top side. Howell just trying to figure out which lane is going to work the best. He knows he's got Ricky Gonzalez, a lap car on his outside, so not a race for a position, but Gonzalez obviously would like to get up and get one lap back if things keep happening, but looks like the 88's got himself a good run coming up on the 35. 88 looks to the top side of the 35.
Oh, almost touches.
Almost clear.
They get there.
And the 29, Kohlhaas slides up just a little bit. almost gets up into the 8 car coming up in the 8, hits the wall, or rather the 88. That's Mark Gonzalez. Apologies for the confusion. Those cars look almost the same. They're both representing their father. And
35 of Dylan McDonald was all over the back bumper of Mark Parkhurst, jumps down to the inside. Mark Gonzalez tries to follow him through, and he is trying to make his way back towards the front where he started this race.
there's 15 laps to go. Gonzalez obviously is only about half a second out of the lead. But talk to me about the urgency. If you're sitting in that spot, 5th place, and the big race in front of you right now, how hard do you race? Do you feel like this is one you deserve? Like,
I don't know if I'm the 88. I'm definitely hoping that lucky horseshoe hasn't disappeared yet. As he is making his way up through the field, he is trying to figure out which line to follow between Mark Parkhurst and Dylan McDonald, as they almost
raced
touched
hard.
there.
yeah, they almost touched into turn number 3. They raced really hard. They're both trying to get everything they can. A little bit sideways was the 4, but the 4 is able to get a little bit of a draft. That's why the 88 goes down to the inside, though, because of that sideways moment. Try to push the 35 past so he can get side by side with the 4 Parkhurst. Sideways is the 35 McDonald coming up off of turn 2, gets a touch from the 88, and around goes the 35. The 38 also hard into the wall.
And they throw that caution quick on that one. Let's jump back
well,
here.
I don't know if
Take a look, man. Well, just look right here.
that was yeah. I mean, that's a tough spot. I mean, we've got the 88 Mark Gonzalez. He is pushing hard. It even goes back a little bit. The 4 gets a little bit sideways coming through 3 and 4, and so that's why the 88
like,
of Mark Gonzalez.
Crazy. These guys are.
So the 4 gets sideways a little bit through 3 and 4. That kind of leans the run towards the inside. So the 4 gets sideways coming up off the corner. Maybe it was a little bit of a touch from the 88. But with that, the 88 decides to come down and push the 35.
Yeah, you can't even get any, like, paper between there.
No, that's a tandem.
Oof.
Especially with the Chevy nose right there. That's tandem. But yeah, so they go hard into turns 3 and 4. Or sorry, 1 and 2. I don't know, I'm getting so backwards up with this racetrack. It's
then
pretty straightforward, so
yeah, then
clown me in the chat.
Gonzalez gets off the back bumper there. He's getting straight. Hits that apron just a little bit, and that causes that back end to get a little bit loose.
Yep, he saves it. He's still sideways, but the 88's going to try to jump up to the outside and just clip that back bumper there. Yep.
Yeah, he was still sliding there, fishtailing a little bit. Tries to save it. Gets sideways.
And I do applaud the caution being thrown there, because had it not been heads-up driving, that would have been, I mean, we see what happens. Oh, that's a tough spot to hit.
Yeah, the 38 was trying to hit the brakes and got on him a little bit too hard, and oof, round he goes. Did clip the side of Gibney there, but his night is probably about done.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, the 35, we took a big slow-mo look at that. The 35 got up on the apron, and 88 didn't really have anywhere to go, but got up into him, sent him sideways. I do applaud the caution being thrown there, because had he come up into the track, that would have been huge. We saw some guys getting checked out.
He wasn't able to slow that down. Take a look back here. We have a couple guys maybe down on the apron trying to lower down through there. His car looks looks all right. Probably wore the tires a little bit there sliding around, but doesn't look like he has too much damage.
Yeah, he should be all right.
But so now we're going to be down to under 10 to go.
Yeah, I believe we should be getting the choose cone this time, which leads us to 1 to green, which will be a 9-lap shootout. Well, I mean, this is the 600 for this group. I mean, this is the longest night of the season. And it's a crown jewel. Everybody wants to win it. But Austin Missler, Jonathan Cogswell, Mark Gonzalez sitting in 3rd place now after all that. Blake Howell and Ira Kohlhaas rounding out the top 5. That's a hefty group of people who want to win this race.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
everybody
definitely
wants
do.
to win, but
I mean, if you're Austin Missler, you do not want to see that 88 behind you.
no, not at all. Missler's been quick throughout the course of the night. So is Cogswell, and now they're finding themselves up front. The 88 was quick in the first half, had some problems with a pit lane speeding penalty, went down a couple laps, and now sits in 3rd place. So a miraculous comeback for Mark Gonzalez, and a lot of luck still there. We've got Blake Howell in the 26 and Ira Kohlhaas in the 29 gearing up in these, in this next row, next couple of rows. The 07. That's George Jewell, somebody else we haven't talked about a whole heck of a lot. Oh, we got a little bit of contact at the back there. Bud Barnes up into the wall and has left the racetrack. Caution is going to extend just to give people a chance that maybe got caught up in that to get a little damage repair or something.
Yeah, just as you brought up the 07, we do have it's like Shasta in the chat cheering him on. So we will definitely show him for a little bit here. They will get re-racked and ready to go.
All right.
Well, this is a long night here. That inside row is all stacked up there.
Yeah, green flag there. We apologize for the confusion there. They waved out the restart and then put it back out. So green flag back out, 9 laps to go, and Austin Missler has himself a nice lead, 2 car lengths over Mark Gonzalez. Here comes the 27 on the outside, trying to make a run as sideways down the back straightaway goes the 35 of Dylan McDonald, taking advantage of the 29 Ira Kohlhaas to try to get up into 5th place. McDonald gets that pass done. Here comes Mark Gonzalez up on the outside.
Dylan McDonald wastes no time. He's been darting all over that track with how fast his car's been.
Mark Gonzalez back to the outside. He's got himself a fender up on the outside. He comes back down to pinch. Up on the apron is the 10 of Missler. Not giving any space is the 88. Pinching down, coming up off of turn number 2. That gives him the outside advantage going into 3. But a huge inside run from Missler. Blake Howell lines up in contact potentially between Cogswell. Into the wall goes Mark Gonzalez. Missler gets a run. We've got ourselves a million things happening in this last 10 laps.
Yeah, Missler and Gonzalez, and then we had Blake Howell and
Look at Gonzalez trying to pinch back down.
Mark Gonzalez making that run, and he is cleared.
Made it happen with a huge pinch, and now here comes Blake Howell trying to take 2nd place away, trying to make a run at the lead. We've got 6 laps to go this time by.
Mark Gonzalez back out front. Has a new partner there in Blake Howell trying to run him down. Austin Missler dating back ever so slightly. But back behind them, we've got Ira Kohlhaas, Zach Woods, and Mark Parkhurst all racing for position right behind this lead group.
We've got a huge race for position. Mark Gonzalez in the lead, has not been able to get away from Blake Howell. Austin Missler lost the race lead on that restart. He does not want to give this race win up. He is sitting right there prominent in 3rd. Just a couple of car lengths back is Jonathan Cogswell with Dylan McDonald right behind him. And side by side is the race for 6th Zach Woods and looks like Ira Caldas trying to work the inside over McDonald.
As Zach Woods making that work.
Kohlhaas.
Mark Parkhurst trying to pass Dylan McDonald on the outside, gets a little almost to the fender, side by side, 35-4, almost touch. Zach Woods is making a run. Zach Woods making a run, currently sitting P4, made that pass on Jonathan Cogswell, looking for more, looking to the outside of Austin Missler.
He's gonna make it happen with Missler. Check it up on the entry there to turn 3, working his way to 3rd position as we've got 3 laps to go. He wants to win this race. He's going for it.
Yeah, Zach Woods is definitely making that pass, jumps down in front of Austin Missler, and now he has his sights set. Woods has his sights set on Blake Howell.
Doing everything he can as we come to 2 laps to go. It looks like he got Howell a little bit loose, and now Howell loses time to the race lead. 2 laps to go this time by. Can Woods get himself a run to try to get around Howell to make a fight for this race win? I'm not sure if it'll happen. We're almost 3 wide as the 4 Mark Parkhurst tries to look towards the middle. Not enough doing there. Mark Gonzalez is enjoying everything he's seeing right behind as he comes to the white flag.
Zach Woods trying to get to the outside of Blake Howell, and right behind him, Mark Parkhurst is looking to his inside. As we have the white flag in the air, last lap, everybody is putting in the work here to get this win.
And they close up to the back end of the 88. Is there enough happening? Is there side by side for 3rd place? Is there enough happening for Blake Howell to be able to make a move on the 88 Mark Gonzalez? Going down into 3.
Blake
He
Howell's
gets
right
down
to
to
his...
the inside. He's looking inside. Not quite enough this time. He has to check up. The 88 comes up off of turn number 4, and Mark Gonzalez wins in a photo finish for 3rd place. Zach Woods gets Mark Parkhurst at the line.
Yeah, Zach Woods just barely getting it here. Let's rewind that real quick here. See what we can get that good view. Stop it a little bit. We'll look at Zach Woods, and we'll go to that start finish line here. See if we can.
Hey, you're want to go frame by frame with that one
it's
because
not even gonna
was
let me do that, man.
photo finish close here.
Mark Gonzalez. Is burning it down here. Get it? Man.
Well, we got Fort Worth Fryer on standby, so if he burns it down too hard. Well, Mike, I appreciate the hell out of being involved with this, and this was a damn good show. We got some interviews coming up here, but can't thank you enough.
Definitely. I will see if we can get Mark Gonzalez and these other guys up here. Let's grab Mark Gonzalez here. Hey, Mark, Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I got a copy.
Man, what a heck of a race. I mean, early you had a caution. You came back. You won that stage. You get a pit road speeding penalty, it looked like. Put you a lap down, and you worked hard all the way through, and a couple late race cautions, and you were able to pull out the victory. What was going through your mind racing that race?
Use a second set of tires, and that's what we were hoping for, was just a late race caution, so that way we could pass those guys that had only only had one set, and they already used it during the stage.
Well, definitely. Well, congratulations on your win. Who do you want to thank on that car tonight?
I want to thank my dad. He was a firefighter for 36 years for the Fort Worth Fire Department. I also want to thank the broadcast booth and my family for allowing me to race. I also want to thank Titletown Racing and Legacy Power, the company that I work for. Hey, and
Awesome,
just
Rick.
so you know, it is an unofficial win because I still do have a pending penalty. So I don't want to say it's still unofficial.
I see. So, well, I guess we will hopefully congratulate you on your win, but nonetheless, you still ran a pretty good race with all the trouble that you had there. But we will go ahead and let you go and get a couple of your teammates up here as well.
Alrighty, thank you, sir.
Yep. Blake Howell, congratulations on P2, man. You there, Blake?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, well, congratulations on your P2 win or P2 finish, or maybe a provisional win, maybe if what Mark was talking about was true. But you definitely worked hard all night. Looked like you were one of the only ones that were running that high line, trying to make that work, but come up one position short. But anything you could have done to try and work that strategy a little better to come out on top?
Well, I think that worked out just about as well as it could. The only thing I could maybe think of was drive it in 100 feet deeper. But good job to Mark. Great win. He really had to fight for that one, coming from a lot of problems. Just glad I could put the Red Duck Comics Ford Mustang and on the podium at least. Maybe a provisional win. I wouldn't want to win it that way, but however it falls, will fall. So
yeah. Anyway, after winning a couple weeks ago and coming in P2, you definitely are making a run towards that points lead and towards the at least a championship caliber season here. Anybody you want to thank on that car?
Yeah, I want to thank Red Duck Comics, Titletown Racing, Rogue Energy, and I want to thank my grandparents, Robert and Sheila Gary, for being on the car tonight. Appreciate their support a ton. Watch all my races. I'm sure they're listening to this right now. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Anytime. It's always entertaining to watch, and it's been relatively entertaining almost 3 hours. So.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll let you go.
All right, thank
you. Zach Woods, man, what a run to finish P3 by a whisker.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a lot of fun.
Man, we saw you just starting to make your way through the field, and we're like, man, I wonder if he's going to be able to get there. And then you were closing in on Blake, and were able to just barely hold off Parkhurst there at the end. But
yeah, that was thank you. That was a ton of fun. The Christian iRacers Camry was really, really good today, and man, we just had all the good luck kind of fall our way in the last, like, I don't know, 30 laps or so, and got back on lead lap, and all my Titletown teammates did a pit strategy, and I couldn't do it with them. And I said, well, there's got to be one more wreck, and I'll be sitting really, really good in about 10th or 11th. And sure enough, that last caution came, and I was the only one on freshies. So that was so much fun. This is crazy. This is awesome. Great.
Definitely. I mean, the last few laps were definitely hectic and entertaining, seeing everybody who was either down a lap or had a little bit of trouble. I mean, everybody was still in it to to win it there. So definitely congratulations on your P3. Anybody you want to thank on that car?
Yeah, thank you, Mike. We drove a tribute to the Staten Island Ferry that made its rounds getting people out of Manhattan on 9/11. And this car is made to look like that boat. So if you Google the Staten Island Ferry, you'll be able to see the similarities in the car. And of course, Christian iRacers You guys really helped me out. And if you are a Christian, even if you're not a Christian, we'd love to have you. Go find them on Facebook. We'd love to give you encouragement in the name of Christ. And they've taken such a big leap for me and have sponsored me across 3 different leagues this season, and got them a second place in the championship battle over at Core against all odds. And then in the same week we finished 3rd. So this is crazy. This is awesome. But thank you guys for all you do in the booth, and you guys at SRM. Y'all know you're great. So good job, guys.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go celebrate with your Titletown teammates, and maybe talk to you next week.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
All right, that was the top 3 finishers, all 3 from Titletown Racing. So you did hear Mark Gonzalez say that it might be provisional because they're looking at a late race incident, but we will we will have more information on that next week. We'll go ahead and look through the results here of the Monsters of Speed Cup Series, round number 5 from Charlotte Motor Speedway. After 200 laps, 300 miles, Mark Gonzalez started on the pole and wins the race. Blake Howell finishes 2nd. Zach Woods and Mark Parkhurst by 1/1000th of a second. Zach Woods gets P3. Mark Parkhurst finishes 4th. Austin Messler ran well most of the night, as well did Cogswell and Dylan McDonald, finishing 5th, 6th, and 7th. Ira Kohlhaas in 9th. George Jewell in 9th, sorry. Kevin Gibney Jr. in 10th. Ryan Douglas, James Santoyo, and Ricky Gonzalez in 12th and 13th. Bill Sleep 14th. Greg Wood Jr. in 15th. Bud Barnes in 16th. Chris Wheeler in 17th. Angel Santiago in 18th. We've got Jordan Gozzadelli, James McKinney, Andrew Hurley, Matt Langley, Dylan Trader, and Jim McIntyre round out the field. So after 300 laps at Charlotte, we will head next week to Bristol Motor Speedway. So from this huge track, we'll head to the Paperclip and see what these drivers of the Monsters of Speed NewGen Cup Series can do there. So once again, I'm Mike Demoni. Liam Ervig joined me in the booth earlier. Congratulations to our winner. Hope you enjoyed the race. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe, turn on bell notifications, Facebook, follow. And we will see you next week